Let's go!
Hello. I think everything's working. That's right. Hello,
Used to
everyone.
be. I think we're okay.
I do not know what it is. My body does not like when I eat pasta. Mars has half a voice.
Voice. What? Why do I only have half a voice?
She has a whole voice. She's back.
I hope I have a whole voice.
We were in person.
We
were screaming on Saturday. I hope she has a full voice.
We were screaming.
We were screaming a lot on Saturday.
I will be honest, the allergies are getting me bad. You know when you just got that ball of something in the back of your throat and it's not pleasant?
Taking Zyrtec like every night for like 2 weeks now.
Yeah, that's me. I've been taking like Claritin right before I go into work because I'm like, ah.
Hello, Dichotomy and John and Penguin. Welcome. Yes.
I am just constantly drinking tea.
And
the time.
But Mars isn't sick anymore, knock on wood.
Yes, please don't jinx me, Ori. Please don't jinx me. Yeah, it's good to be back as it always is. I miss coming to stream. I hate when I'm sick.
Yes.
Besides for the obvious reasons. I miss you guys. I hope you were good to Ori and Dylan while I was gone. I hope you played nice.
Yeah, we had a fun game. And you know, I gotta say, I technically, even though it's a weird thing, so for those who don't know, Dichotomy does streams on Fridays. Okay, but not on a channel, not on his channel, not on the Dichotomy Games channel for whatever reason. Does it over on Ixion the Unlucky's channel, because Ixion is a part of the Dichotomy Games team, right? And now they usually do it on Fridays, but of course, we stream on Fridays. And then so I could like never catch it, or I catch it for like the first like hour, because they usually do like 7 to 9, and so it's like, all right, I'll like be on for like 7, and then they added another stream on Thursdays, and it was Ixion and Molly doing like World Bro stuff, and that was really fun. And the first time it was 6 to 8, so it was literally perfect. It was like I can come on before stream, I can be in the chat there, and then it ends, and I leave as they're ending and start. It's all great.
That would've been brilliant.
But then, dang Ixion, how dare he change the time to 9, and it's still 2 hours. It was once 6 to 8 Dichotomy. I would bet you money. I will bet you like a piece of art for Dichotomy Games. It was the one time 6 to 8. I distinctly remember, because our stream has always started at 8, and it was like cool that it was early. I was like, that's epic. It was one time 6 to 8 at least. And I was like, that's super cool. I like this.
You can't fool Ori's memory. It's too good.
It would be, see, the difference, Dichotomy, is this would be completely of your choosing. That's the difference, bet. Otherwise, usually I just do what I want. There's a difference.
Oh, say hi to Violet for us, Dichotomy. Actually, I'll do it. Hello, Violet.
You're just screaming and came down. She's yelling at you because she didn't turn on the Ori and Mars shows sooner. I don't know if I said hi, Enthuse, but hello. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Pasta doesn't like
Enthuse?
Me. I don't like
Penguin.
Pasta
hello,
that
John.
much.
I don't think I did any of my greetings tonight.
I don't like pasta that much, if I'm being honest. But I made pasta carbonara today, and it
was about to say, you're never a pasta person.
No, and pasta doesn't like me back. Because I'm having a bad time.
Oh no.
I am not having a good time. Pasta does not like me. I also really, really hate myself for putting them on a ship with the fucking steering wheel. Because I wish for death, and I hate having this wheel again. And again, and that's why we're doing this instead of.
We are both hella struggling with our designated entries.
Well, you have this week, and that's it. Otherwise, I need it back at whatever level you got, because we're fucking on crunch.
We're fucked then.
Yeah,
we're fucked then.
Uh-oh. And you gotta finish whatever it is, and I get it back, and we gotta go. And I gotta hope that those backgrounds aren't
the plan.
Super screwy.
That's the plan.
Impossible.
Here we go.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but the pasta.
What do you mean, possibilities?
Possibilities. No.
Endless possibilities.
It doesn't like me. My tummy, unhappy. The food.
Oh, I'm
decent,
so sorry for your
not
tummy.
Not worth it, if I'm being honest. I don't like pasta enough.
Oof.
I like rice. I can eat rice all day,
Doug
every day.
Enjoy it.
Doug did, yeah. Dylan, we'll see. But Dylan liked my rice balls, so that's what matters.
That's good. See, that's the food that matters, so that's all we care about.
That's all we care about. Can we... Everything needs to go away so I can see Where to put my perspective ruler here?
See, I would say like you have a gluten disease, but that can't be it because you
eat
it has bakery stuff. So that has nothing to do with
cookies,
it. I wonder what it is about pasta specifically.
It's pasta and bread sometimes. Just like my stomach does not enjoy those two things. It doesn't like
it is very heavy.
Eat bread toasted in any decent capacity, but like if I eat I'm talking a quarter of a bagel, I regret. There is so much regret of just how bad I feel. Like physically, not like I ate carbs or something. It literally just like I feel absolutely crummy.
Like I feel sick, and now we're gonna have a bad time.
Like I literally feel sick. But
Penguin,
rice,
I know you didn't mean that as innuendo, but that really reads as an innuendo. I'm sorry.
I feel like it. I don't know anymore. No stress? I don't know what we're not stressing about.
Hey, if there's no stress, then there's no stress.
Please.
That's good.
I know why.
I wish I could relate.
I'm having a pretty chill week.
Guys, you know when I won't feel stress? April 14th. Because that's spring break.
It keeps getting pushed back. You were like, oh, we're good because I'm done with one thing.
Yeah, it just, life is life. Work is work.
Yeah.
And stress is stress.
Nope, didn't like that. Come here, please.
I was not having a fun time this morning. I thought I was going to be sick at my job. Hey. At one point, like, you have that ball of stuff in your throat, right? Whatever causes it, allergies, talking, lingering, cold, whatever it is, but it's hanging out there. And sometimes no,
it's very not dichotomy. Dichotomy, not even when
once it goes down, you feel so sick. I was like, I felt so bad after that. I was like, I am not having a good time, and I gotta entertain preschoolers. No, it is very much not consistent across the U.S.
It is not consistent at all. It is not consistent within your state, within the type, like the genre of school you're in, within other states. Very, very not consistent.
Incredibly inconsistent. I have some kids on my caseload that left early for spring break because they have older siblings that came home from school where they have spring break, but the younger kiddo does not. The district hasn't declared the spring break yet.
So it can be district driven, but like even like when you get out of school for like summer break is different across the US.
Even more fun, you guys. Even more fun. We didn't have any snow days this year. So some districts are putting those unused snow days onto our spring break. And I'm like,
that's nice.
Let's go. Let's fucking go.
Nice. Okay. Think that makes sense. There's the horizon line. And we're good.
The dichotomy. Definitely fantasy in the ideal world that is Hollywood.
Yeah, it never ever existed that way.
It never aligns in that perfect way. Never.
Crazy.
I wish it worked that way, but sadly no.
Yep. In a way, it's better, I think, that not every single college student is suddenly home. I feel like there is a benefit to that.
Well, not that every college student is home along with their younger siblings. Sometimes you gotta stagger it a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, this tea's doing nothing. I'm taking a spoonful of honey.
Oh, snap. A spoonful of honey. Helps.
I will be honest, you guys. I'm one of those weirdos that could literally straight up just eat honey. It's just so good.
Unless the school day was a bit longer. Oof, pastry puff. That
felt
sucks.
so nice on my throat. Oh, that felt much better.
The
guys,
worst.
I'm telling you, sore throat, quick remedy, spoonful of honey. It's so good.
The worst we had,
like an instant cough drop,
was we had Superstorm Sandy, and school people were without power for upwards of like nearly 3 weeks, depending on where you were. Usually about 1 to 2 for most people, but the school was out of power for a week, so we had no school for a week. And because of that, even though we have snow days, I think we already had snow days, or no, it wasn't, it was before winter even happened. So they didn't know if we were gonna need snow days or not. So what we didn't get instead is our, like, February break, we didn't get. We usually got a week in February. We didn't get it. We just didn't get to have it because we had this week off due to other circumstances. Also, Halloween was canceled. Literally. Like, I never thought that could be a thing. Halloween was, like, actively canceled.
We still had some people on my block doing it. Because we were lucky. On my block, there's a house with one of those horseshoe-shaped driveways. So we had a tree that fell right in the middle of our road. Big, giant tree. You couldn't
but it was there.
go over it, couldn't go through it. But everyone used this person's driveway to get around it.
Because it happened to be around it. That's
and
crazy.
it actually ended up being really sweet.
What happened, Dichotomy?
Did neighborhood just kind of used it.
Was there a storm or somebody hit, like, car crash? Like, what happened?
Oh, damn, from Saturday? We had a thunderstorm last night, but what was going on this weekend?
I mean, Dichotomy lives very far from here, Mars, so...
That is true.
Nothing I'm just trying to
think if I missed any superstorms in the news.
No.
You never know.
It was a big storm. Took down tons of trees.
Oh, jeez. So many power lines. Oh my goodness.
Okay. I've definitely mentioned this before, but I think it's pretty funny. My father is a very odd man. And by that I mean he's a very outdoorsy man without doing a lot of camping. Okay? He has guns and he does go to shooting ranges, you know, just for sport. He never really goes hunting though. Okay? He has a lot of camping stuff and outdoor stuff, but I never knew my father to be a guy that like really went camping. But I knew that he had all this camping gear. Right. He has all this gear of things to go camping. So because of that, as a child, I thought it was because we never went camping. I thought it was the coolest thing to get to break out, the camping stuff, the cool camping gadgets my father had. And my big thing is I drink warm milk every morning and every night. That's just like a thing I've done for like my entire life. I have a glass of warm milk first thing I get up, and a glass of warm milk right before I go to bed. And definitely as a child, it was like, I fucking need that, otherwise I'm having a bad time. And so it was always finding creative ways
Ori's placebo
to get like that warm milk. And so it was like using like these little gas camping stoves or like on the barbecue and all this sort of stuff. And it was crazy. So as a child, I wished for the power to go out. I wanted the power to go out. Because my power never went out. My parents' house is across the street, basically, from the fire department. So my childhood home is on the same
never going to be without
grid
power
line as the fire department. And on top of that, while we had some trees, most of our trees were in like the back of our houses and not like in the front where the power lines were. So we didn't really have a lot of issues of trees coming down like locally to us. It would come down somewhere else and affect the power lines, and thus if the fire department is out of power, that gets up right fast. we also have a library right there and the train station. So it's kind of like, this area needs power right away.
Ori had a ton of places around her that needed power.
Yeah, that
so
needed
by
power,
extension,
like, immediately.
She got the power.
Yeah, so basically every time the power went out, it came on for us pretty fast. So I wished for the power to go out. When Sandy came, I was like, oh, please, I hope the power goes out. I like the idea of camping. It was fun. Like, I would get to sleep in the living room with my parents. Like, it was a fun time for the power to go out.
Mm-hmm.
And it did. We were
and
watching
then she realized
Rio.
Halloween was canceled.
Well, no, I didn't really associate the two. But we were watching the movie Rio for the first time. And, like, in the last 5 minutes of the movie, like, the plane is taking off, and it's, like, this big suspense point of, like, are we gonna get them? What's gonna happen? And the power flickered. So it screwed up the movie, but it didn't go out. And we had just gotten the movie back, like, set back up, you know, found the scene. And, you know, because we had to go to, like, the scenes on the movie, right? We were back further than where we were, and we got back to the same part, and the power went out. So we didn't get to finish the movie Rio, but the power went out, and that was the coolest shit.
Man, the universe really did not want you to watch Rio.
And play, like, card games and stuff. It, like, forced us, you know, to, like have fun, you know, camping time in your own house. Power came on within 6 hours overnight. It was, like, vast majority overnight. Like, we were watching Rio, and then it was, like, little Ori's bedtime, and then I think it was middle school with Sandy. I think that was middle school. I don't think it was high school, but I was friends with Charlie at that point because Charlie came over to my house.
Pretty sure was middle school.
I think it had to be middle school. Yeah. And crazy. And Enthuse is out.
It was 2012.
Girlfriend still doesn't have power.
Wait, 2012?
Yeah, that's a classic on hailstorms, John. They come and they go.
I'm trying to remember if 2012 was middle school or high school. No, it had to be high school.
14, so no, it would have been middle school. 15 is 9th grade. It would have been 8th grade. Starting 8th grade.
Oh, okay, you're right. It's 1 year right before.
Yeah, it would have been starting 8th grade. But
yeah.
So we had power like
what a
right
way
away.
to end our
so I got
school experience.
A little nighttime fun camping bit. My milk got heat up on like a little kerosene camper stove. And then the next day my power's on. When I woke up that morning, the power's on. However, literally nobody else we knew had power. Mars's power was out for like 10 days, 2 weeks, something like that.
Oh, our power was out for a while, but I think it was more 8 days.
8 days, something like that.
I find it really funny, though, because I slept through the storm. I don't know what happened that day. I don't know if I was feeling sick. I don't know if it was just an off day for me. I fell asleep. I woke up and I was like, oh, where's the storm? And my parents were like, it's over. You want to see the damage? I'm like, wait, what do you mean it's over? What do you mean I slept through the storm? And
then, but then, yeah, my best friend at the time, which was surprisingly not Mars, my best friend at the time, they didn't have power for like 2 weeks. And we're talking, and this is October, like end of October, right? And it was freezing temperatures. So many people had no power and then didn't have heat, and it was cold. It was like really cold. So there's like a lot of other issues that happened as well because it got so cold. But our house was basically like a little way station, whereas like if you knew us, you came over and you had a hot shower at our house and like cooked food and like did all this food stuff. And like I said, we were off of school for like a whole week. So like my friend Charlie slept over for that week because like they had no heat.
Enjoy. That was nice.
Yeah, it was fun. But then it sucked that February break was gone because that's when I always went to North Carolina.
They took our break from us.
But we didn't have a generator then. We do have a generator now. So last time power went out was kind of underwhelming. Was that?
You know, I've seen the power go out,
the gas shortage too? Is that
was it the time of the what?
The gas shortage? Hi, Joyride.
You know what? I think
that was that, right? So there was a gas shortage because they couldn't get the trucks
everyone in our area
refill.
was like flocking,
and they were running their generators
to fill their cars.
They were running generators. They were
yeah.
trying to fill their cars, but they couldn't get gas shipped in. All right, they couldn't get gas shipped in. So there was a whole thing, and it was about if your license plate had like. So there's a big fear of gas siphoners. I remember my parents being very, very concerned about gas siphoners, and you could only go to the gas station on certain days based on like what number your license plate ended in. So it was like Monday you could go if you were an even numbered license plate, and like Tuesdays if you were odd, and this sort of thing. And you could only fill up like one car per person or something. Like it was like really wild. It was a whole thing. Yeah, wow, I remember that. 50 win. Yeah, what a win dichotomy. Do you have a Waffle House enthuse? Feels like you work at a Waffle House. What was the Waffle House? I don't know if there's Waffle Houses over there. I know Waffle House is like a southern thing. That's the joke. If anybody doesn't know about the Waffle House index, that's another thing.
I'll be honest, that was not on my radar.
You don't know about the Waffle House index?
She slept through a tornado? Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. No, the Waffle House index is that Waffle House is notorious for staying open through crazy shit and like having power and like still serving and being open through like really bad hurricanes and storms and stuff. So there's like an index.
Any of that.
Yeah, so there's an index, and it's something along the lines of like a 1 is the Waffle House is open, full menu, full service, something like that, and it's like a 2 is like the Waffle House is like open but a limited menu, and then it's like a 3 is like they're open but they're only serving something, like coffee and eggs or something, and then it's like a 4 is they're closed, you need to leave, why did you not evacuate already? Like the 4 is like the end times have occurred, the Waffle House is closed.
It's like they have determined this is an issue, what are you doing? Yeah. That's hilarious. This is actually my first time hearing of that, and that's hysterical.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We don't have the Waffle Houses. We have the IHOPs up here.
It's
and
they
don't operate on the same scale.
No, IHOP is a pansy compared to Waffle House. Yeah, so the Waffle House index, it has 3 levels. Green, which is full menu, the restaurant has power and damage is minimal or absent. Yellow is so it's specifically following a storm, how bad the storm was. That's what it's supposed to be. Yellow is they have a limited menu, which means power is either absent or a generator or food supplies are running low. And then red is the restaurant is closed. This indicates severe damage, flooding, severe destruction of the restaurant. And the whole thing is because all of these sort of things.
Damn. I wonder what their waffles taste like. Are they worth it?
If I'm being honest, you don't go to Waffle House for waffles. You go to Waffle House for hash and grits.
Then why is it called Waffle House?
I don't know.
That's misleading.
It tastes like houses? Yeah. No, yeah, exactly, Enthuse. Because it really, is a decent indicator. But it's just like the pizza, there's a pizza index. And it was like how bad a war was going or something at the Pentagon because of how much pizza they would order from like an IHOP at once, because if the meetings ran late. And so there was at a time a pizza index, but then they learned about it, and there also ended up being built a food court in the Pentagon, so it doesn't happen anymore.
So now we can't tell anymore. Mm-hmm. Damn it.
Ah, you're right. It's made out of waffles, dichotomy.
Oh, the house itself?
There's a McDonald's in the Pentagon? Yeah, not surprised.
That makes a little too much sense. Work with me here, bud.
Because they absolutely
I gotta do your hair.
To evacuate during fire alarms, drilling it. See, that's ridiculous. To me, that is not the Waffle House way. Dichotomy. It's more just like coming to work again. Okay, I will say dichotomy. It's a very interesting thing, but there are places where there is not a convenient McDonald's, and I'm gonna tell you where it is. It's Manhattan. Manhattan.
This is also true.
Is a desert for two things: chain anything, and gas stations. Specifically, Midtown, downtown Manhattan.
I don't know if I've ever been to that section.
Absolutely did not last. Yeah, people tried. I will say I'm partial to that one song where the guy is like, this is a hostile government takeover. We're in a...
I wanna talk about
and if that is not the most Gen Z fucking shit, I don't know what is.
It very much is, but it was also created by millennials.
Yeah, but it's so Gen Z coded though.
It is. It truly is.
Hello,
I have that song
Federico.
on my phone. It's a bop. Hiya, Federico. Yes, I have gotten my voice back. I will say, luckily this past instance was not an instance where I lost it. It was more so just, oh, I'm talking. Oh, okay, that actually hurts. Oh, I'm still talking. Oh, wow. Oh, pain. I can't talk.
Woof.
Which is in direct opposition to, I am trying to talk, nothing hurts, but nothing is coming out. There's two opposite sides of
I gotta say something. I think Pastry Puff is in chat. I think I saw their thing. Yeah, they are in chat. Because it's about Link Click. It's not spoilers, it's just really funny. So this is the first time that Mars came over and we watched Link Click while there were other people in the house. Every other time, the other time we managed to... I'm
very surprised we didn't get noise complaints.
Oh, we never were going to. You can hear Doug and Dylan on stream screaming. It's not gonna be. It's never an issue. Okay. But so this is the first time that we watched Link Click in a house with other people, because the last time we watched it was in my childhood home while my parents were on vacation. So we had the house to ourselves. So this time, Dylan and Doug are both in their own different rooms. So we're in one room with the door closed, and they're in two different rooms doing their own thing. But we're obviously yelling and screaming and I don't know, sort of stuff from the beginning because the first episode hits you right away.
Opening.
The first episode hits you right away.
No prisoners. They were just like, welcome back, you suckers.
Yeah, really. Great. Remember what we ended on? Savage. Yeah, remember it. So we were screaming and yelling, and at some point, apparently, Dylan's telling me this later. At some point, Doug's like, "What are they okay? Like, what are they doing?" And Dylan goes, "Yeah, they're watching some like gay yaoi or whatever." As like a joke. Like he knows that's not what we're watching.
Doomed yaoi. Thank you very much.
But he knows that's not what we're watching. But I think Doug says something along the like, "Oh, okay." And then one of us, I don't remember, he doesn't remember who, but one of us screams something along the lines of, "Oh my god, he grabbed it!" or something. Something very sus out of context. And Dylan was like, "What timing for that?" That is true, Dichotomy. It's called bromance.
It does.
It's called bromance.
No, if anything, this is doomed yaoi at its finest. We got the angst,
crazy.
boys.
It just like, oh my god. It just hit so hard, so fast.
They did not let us breathe.
I am
very happy we got
later.
a kind of slice of lifey one.
We got little moments later to lure you into some false sense of security before they're like, haha, remember though? Remember though?
Remember pain?
But yeah, straight yaoi is obviously bromance.
Seeing that opener of the Bryden arc, I was like, oh, this changes things. And I don't know, it's a very quick thing, but it is technically spoilers.
Put the spoiler tag.
So I wonder if we should throw up the sign real quick.
I got the tag. Spoiler, Bryden arc.
Alrighty.
I hate for link click.
Pastry Puff, this is for you, but that opening caught me off guard because up till this point, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like we were led to believe that the only person Lu Guang had lost was Shang Shishu.
Yeah.
But in that opening, we realized, oh no, fuck, it's everyone.
Yeah.
It's the police officer they befriended, it's Xiaoling, and it's Shang Shishu. Like, I thought it was literally just, Lu Guang versus the concept of moving on, but he would have his friends help him through. No, he fucking lost everybody. Like, that adds more stakes to this. I kind of like that they did that. Because it really ups the ante for Lu Guang.
Yep.
Alright, spoilers done. Howdy, Estrock, just in time.
Hello, Estrock.
Have you heard of a little anime called Link
Yeah,
Click?
if you haven't, honestly, watch it.
Watch it. Honestly, I
so
feel like Link Click should be required viewing.
Stakes have been
if you're trying to write a story or like stories.
It's so good.
It's amazing.
Okay. I have
quickly becoming my favorite series of all time.
It is super up there. Has yet to influence my art like other beloved series of mine, but
to be fair, their art is very simple compared to yours.
I will say
so
the
it would
backgrounds
be interesting
are beautiful.
To see how that art style would impact yours.
See, okay, there's a slight difference on what I mean though, and that is while Dungeon Meshi's art style has specifically influenced my art style in, yes, I have yoinked X, Y, and Z from the Dungeon Meshi art style, right? Versus Trigun did not directly influence, but spurred a upgrade, right? Because the shading style is not directly from Trigun Stampede, but it's just because I drew Trigun Stampede art and did it in a way, and then we got where we are now. Link Click has yet to do either of those things.
I think that'll change once you draw some Shang Shishu and Lu Guang.
It is true. I did little doodles of them. How to spell the anime? Link Click. There you go.
Yes.
Pastry got it.
It's
it
very
is a
good.
Donghua, so that does mean it's Chinese made. And so the original
But there's an English
dub is
dub.
Chinese. The English
done
dub
by Alejandro
is
Saab
really good.
And Zeno Robinson. And they both do amazing work portraying these characters.
However, the Chinese, the original dub is also very good. Like, there's no question. And you do miss a little things.
Just decide you stand.
I would have to check again what the subtitles are on the newer ones, because the only thing we have experience with is watching the subtitles for the Chinese in the shorts, and that was really bad. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah, the subtitles were rough.
The subtitles were bad in the shorts. You could get the gist of it, but like there was no love.
But it was like
there was no love put into those subtitles.
These are direct translations.
This was somebody put this in a translator, yeah.
These are not tailored, you know? These aren't edited. And you could tell.
It didn't feel like this was somebody who spoke both Chinese and English. I don't know which Chinese version. I don't know if it's Mandarin or I'm blanking on the other one for some reason. Cantonese. I think it's
Starts
Mandarin.
with an H, right?
No, it's Cantonese.
No.
Mandarin or Cantonese.
Cantonese, thank you.
But point being, it didn't seem like it was someone who was bilingual, who knew English and, you know, the Mandarin or Cantonese. It sounded like they put it through, like, a translator. That's what the subtitles were. The subtitles for the shorts only. I don't know how they did on
the rest of it might be okay.
Hangul is Korean alphabet. That's maybe what you were thinking of.
Is that what I was thinking of?
Hangul. That's the only thing I could think of that you might have been
I feel like I didn't even know that.
Oh. Whoops.
Well, you learn something new every day, folks.
That you do.
To do that you do. Yep, tonight's just kind of a we need to get shit done night.
Yeah, we be behind.
We be so behind.
We be pretty behind.
But it's okay. We're doing all right.
Is it okay? Are we doing all right?
We're catching up.
I'm
it's
not
okay.
Doing that all right.
You're not?
No, Mars, this isn't done, and this is for Monday. And I'm still on backgrounds. We're not doing that all right, I gotta tell you. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, Ori. This is what I'm gonna be doing during business meeting tomorrow, too.
Yep. Okay, we need to read. I hate this wheel.
Priorities.
Angle is a lot. No. Yeah, the next hiatus,
Did
guys.
Play some epic April Fool pranks?
No,
today?
But I had to keep reminding myself that it was April Fool's today.
My kids actually got me today.
Oh,
they tricked me into thinking one of my students was absent. So it turns out they saw me coming. They saw me coming to the classroom. And they must have told my student to like go hide, or they had this plan. As I come into the room and I'm like, where's my guy? I literally just saw him through the window. And they go, oh, he's absent today. And I'm like, he's absent? I'm like, I literally just saw him in the hallway. That can't be right. But I'm like, I'm playing into it with the kids because like they're kind of giggling a little bit. I have one saying, no, he's here. No, he's absent. So I'm all kinds of confused. So I just make eye contact with the teacher, and she gives me like one of those looks that is just like, yeah, he's here. He's in the corner. Go get him. So I was able to like kind of sneak up and be like, it was very cute. That was the only prank that was played on me today, though.
Yeah, guys, Senna's very nice, but he's pretty sassy too.
A lot of pranksters on my caseload. Ooh, nice, Estra. Pick something good for dinner.
My tummy's finally
I am still so proud of that ramen I made the other day. I don't know why. Putting a rolled egg on top of it just feels so nice. I'm not saying that, Dichotomy. I never said that. That was never implied. No, no, no.
As you can tell, we don't do the pranks on this channel. We didn't prank y'all.
Hold on a second.
Our prank etiquette is non. Why?
They might have a cat at the door. I gotta go check.
Okay, we're doing this the lame way because I can't figure it out the other way.
Nope, no cat on the door. Fake cat!
Fake cat. You're a fake cat owner, Mars.
Oh, yes, that's right. I've just been photoshopping Misty this whole time.
This entire time. That cat spam, all Google images.
All fake. Can you believe it?
Can you
I've been playing the long game, you guys. 3 years of content. 3 years of cat content. All fake.
All fake. Nope, that's too dramatic.
Oh, nice! You're in season 3!
Ooh, yes. Yeah, chill.
It's a chill time.
School
enjoy it while it
arcs are fun.
lasts. Enjoy it while it lasts.
It's like, okay, part of me is sometimes like, ooh, school festival would have been a fun thing. And then the other part of me is like, I don't want to have to care that much. I don't want to have to work that hard. They work so hard on that shit, guy. Like, oh my god. Can't imagine.
It's like, it sounds fun on paper, but then you're kind of like, but then you got to do this on top of all the other shit you're doing in
all your
school.
other work, and then if you have clubs,
like,
and any other life you might do, it's just like, I also, like,
Wait, that's not the right thingy.
Whoa.
I would like to be an enjoyer of the festival, not...
Yeah, there you go.
Not a runner person.
Yeah, I'll go to Japan as an adult. So that all of my festival experience is just going to festivals. Interesting.
What? There you go, Senate. Now you actually look like something.
I'm gonna make them longer. Longer.
It is ominous, Pastry Puff.
Yeah,
and
I
should
mean,
you be worried?
Pastry
yes,
Puff,
you
at
should
this
be
point,
worried.
I feel like you got the formula of what Mob Psycho does to you down. Okay? That's all I'm gonna say. If you were in here thinking that it was just gonna be chill time the whole time, I feel like that wouldn't be the Pastry Puff I know. Like exotic numbers? What?
Wait, huh?
There was a surprise math pop quiz, but they were all like exotic numbers, like -1.
Oh,
what
like -1?
About is
Amazing. Welcome.
A thing.
-1 plus 2 to the
April
7th
Fool's
power.
Joke or something, I'm assuming.
Oh. Did not like that. That was not a fun prank when teachers gave pretend pop quizzes on April Fools. Like, you both knew it was a joke, but you were also like, is there a chance this is taken seriously and I need to actually pass?
Yeah, I feel like there's like a fine line when the joke is so thinly possibly real. Right? Like, I feel like there's like, if we're at a point where this joke could still somehow feasibly be like an actual thing, we've kind of gone too far. Versus like, there's a comic that the webtoon that I follow, and every year on April Fools, they do this like side comic thing where it's the characters, but they're as like, one's a duck and one's a swan. And they just have random adventures, but, like, they're just, one's a duck and one's a swan. But it's like, that's just how it is in this comic, you know? So it's like, that's a funny little, like, I know this isn't real, you know? Like, I know it's, but it's like, oh, fun April 1st, we get
the Adventures of Duck and Swan. That it's fake.
You know?
Because you know the Duck and Swan aren't the real characters.
You get some
like,
healing.
I'm in on the joke.
There's involved, but, like, I mean... no spoilers, you know?
Pastry Puff, I gotta be honest, not everything was wrapped up.
And you'll figure that out soon enough.
They are, Mason, they are.
Whew.
At least you got bonus marks.
No harm in quotations, because if you're a child, you're children. So if you're a child that has incredible,
you are all children to us.
Incredible test anxiety. I feel like that's still pretty rough.
It's not fun times. We do not stand.
Like, okay, I have done one set of April Fool's jokes in my entire life, and it was in college, and, I mean, they were fucking peak, and I stayed up with one other person the entire night before, and not the entire night, but, like, pretty freaking late, like 3 a.m., because we blew up 100 balloons. Technically, we only blew up 96, because 4 of them popped, but we blew up 96 balloons. Hello, Pluto. And we went to 3 different friend dorm rooms where we definitely knew like both our friends were the roommates, or one person he lived alone. So we knew both roommates in the room, and then the one person who lived alone. So we knew all of them. And we took saran wrap, cling film, and we put 1/3 of the balloons. So 32 balloons. And we drew stuff on them that related to, like, the people, like, you know, whose door we were putting them on, like inside jokes and shit. And then we taped them because the doors open in to the room. The main doors to the room open in. And we put the cling film so it made like a holder so it held the balloons up against the door so that when they opened the door, the balloons would fall in on you. And then you had like this cling film there. But like the goal was not for you to walk into it, you know, you'd have to know something was up with the balloons there. And so we did that. And so that night we did all that and we put all the things up. And, you know, we're basically waiting for like the text messages to be like, you got, you know, whatever. And, one of our friends, they were two roommates, we realized sort of that, like, this is a weekend. Because it was April Fool's, was like a Saturday. How'd you do this without them hearing anything? So the way that the dorms work is, we were in, like, the upperclassmen dorms, so you have the main door, which is a heavy steel door, and then you have like a main area that usually has a kitchen, and then the actual room with the bedroom is away from the main door. So unless your bedroom is the outside wall to the hallway, so you might have a bedroom that touches the hallway wall, but most of them didn't. You would have, they wouldn't hear you doing anything. But then, yeah, exactly. You asked for 2 ice cubes, but I only had 1. But so we knew that, so it was like, this was Friday night, and this is now Saturday is April 1st. And that's why we were able to do this, because we could stay up late. And, the one room of 2 friends, we sort of realized by like noon that it was like, there's a high chance that these people would never organically leave their room today. And that these people would never organically leave their room to do anything at all. And it's like, oh god, we don't want like somebody coming and like ruining the joke, right? Like ruining the prank. Or they open the door on like Monday and the balloons come in and it's like, what is
and
this?
You just text them
April
and it's
3rd.
like, hey, could you grab something
literally
for me real quick?
I text the one of the 2 of them that I'm much closer with, and I can't remember what it was, but I think I no, that's what I did. I'm pretty sure I baked cookies. And then I specifically said,
lured them
hey,
with the promise of cookies.
Come get some cookies, dog. And he was like, all
now
right,
that's
bet.
evil.
And he the door to the balloons. Still came out and there was cookies, and I gave him cookies. I wasn't giving false cookies.
Good. At least he got some cookies for his troubles.
But he's like, is that you, dog? And I was like, yeah, man. He was like, did you make these cookies just for that? I was like, I did not think you would come out of the room on your own if I didn't do some shit like this. And he was like, you're right.
You're probably right.
I wouldn't. And then he said something along the lines, you made me put on pants for this, dog. But yeah, they were not oatmeal raisin, though. I made good cookies.
Oh, that would have been an even crueler prank.
I made good cookies.
Make oatmeal raisin, tell them it's chocolate chip.
Oof.
How dare.
Speaking of oatmeal related stuff, guys, I tried overnight oats for the first time, and I liked them. I
was gonna say, that was an interesting segue. Where is this going?
They were good. I don't dislike
and they weren't too
raisin.
soggy.
I feel like oatmeal raisin needs to be dipped in something like tea. No. They are specifically very soggy. It's more like a cereal. Like, it's very liquid. But I liked it.
See, I could never get past the texture of overnight oats. I have tried several times because I know it's like an easy grab-and-go breakfast, and I can't do it. It's too mushy.
Interesting. See, I didn't find mine mushy. Mine still were soft, but they had a little bit like al dente pasta. They had a tooth to them. I had to cut.
Maybe I just made mine wrong.
So the way I did it, it was 1 part milk, 1 part oats, and then a little bit of coconut yogurt.
Oh.
And honey. And you mix all of that together at once. And then you do that overnight. And then...
Okay. Because I tried, I found a recipe for a peanut butter and jelly
Yeah,
overnight oats.
so then I added peanut butter and jelly the next morning.
And then I ate it, and it tasted like shit. Oh, you added the next morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then you add all the toppings.
My recipe told me to do it.
Oh, no.
The night before. Oh, that's why it sucks so bad.
You need better jars.
What you do is you get jars that fit.
I just ordered these like parfait jar things for Dylan and I, and I'm really excited. They come tomorrow, and it's like a lid, and you have the big jar on the bottom, and then the little jar on top. Yeah, no, Penguin. Yeah, so then this morning, before I went to work, I just put, like, a scoop of almond butter and a scoop of raspberry jam on top, and then I mixed it in right before I was gonna eat it. If I had, like, crunchy toppings...
I might do that tomorrow, because I got a full day tomorrow, and I'm gonna need some breakfast.
I was told... So the recipe person talks about if you want it to be more pudding-like, you add chia seeds. I didn't need it to be.
You don't got chia seeds.
Okay, yeah, but you can get them at the supermarket. I'm just saying in the
future. I can, but I want them tomorrow.
It will always be liquidy though. Like it was like good milk plus like
Wait.
For me, they were
really
more
was a PB&J oats marinade. It was so gross.
For me, they were more structured.
What the hell I made, but it made me cry.
It's definitely not the consistency of oatmeal. It was like... It's very difficult to explain. But it had like a tooth to it.
No worries, Dichotomy. Thank you for tuning in.
How dare you, Dichotomy? It's not like I'm behind too or anything on my own shit. How could you be behind on your shit? Pfft, gosh. This guy.
Amazing. Chia seeds are very edible.
Oh, yeah.
They're super healthy for you, too.
Yep. Okay, what am I doing? You need a wheel.
It's mostly... This is Mars trying to figure out what she can make the night before very quickly, because... Mars is so lazy after she comes home from work. She doesn't want to do anything.
Also, I will say, like...
But I've also realized, like, the reason why I'm getting sick is probably because I'm eating snacks all day in between my clients. I should probably eat some actual food. So, we're
I will also say, Mars, I definitely didn't let... the oats marinade for like super long, in the sense of like I put it in at like midnight and then like I took them to work at like 7. So, you know.
And you ate them at 7?
No, I didn't eat them till 9:30.
Okay, because I was gonna say, like, if I make them after stream and I see a first session tomorrow at 8 a.m., I got some time between 9 and 9:30, which is my next session. That would be when I eat them.
Do, Mason. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I don't know if I would ever do it where, like, I make it up, like, today for, like, Thursday. You know, that's all I'm saying. I don't know if I could prep them that far ahead.
Prep them in advance?
Like a bunch of them?
I don't think you could do that unless you, like, maybe you freeze it and then it thaws out by the time you get to lunch.
People do it.
I've seen people do it.
I just, like, I feel like they would get too mushy at that point.
Yeah,
because
that's
it didn't feel mushy to me when I ate it. It felt like I was eating like a non-crunchy cereal. Like the oats were still fully in like a texture.
If it's like the consistency of like soggy Cheerios, that's fine. If it's the consistency of soggy Raisin Bran, then we got a problem.
I don't eat Raisin Bran enough to have a picture of that in it.
Soggy paper.
I would not.
That's what soaked Raisin Bran tastes like. Soggy paper. And it makes me sad. Hello, Vanilla.
Would not. So there's two things. It's also making sure your oats are the rolled oats.
I got old fashioned, but I think
those
I
are
have
rolled. Those are rolled oats. The old fashioned oats are rolled oats. Yeah. It's just some of them aren't. And that's it. Like, you just look on the, certain, like, you can't do, like, quick oats or whatever,
Mm.
Or steel cut. I don't think that one is the same.
Oh yeah, those definitely don't work.
But
I made that mistake before.
Yeah. Yeah, like I wouldn't ever call it mushy. That is not the word I would use to describe the overnight oats that I consumed this morning.
Interesting.
However, I will say that it was definitely not something I could compare anything else to. But the milk was definitely still milk, but it didn't taste like the oats weren't the consistency of oatmeal oats, you know? It wasn't that level. Have you ever had oats in a smoothie?
Yes.
Yes. Think of like that, but in milk.
That texture, that's not terrible.
Yeah, that's the best I got. Is this your phone alarm? Oh no. Likes grape nuts? I think my dad also likes grape nuts. I ate paper as a child. I thought it was a cool thing to do.
Who didn't?
My friend
once ate a paper clip. Entirely seriously, he ate a paper clip.
Well, that I didn't do. At least as a child, I at this point I was aware that like technically paper is close-ish to food, where a paper clip would not be.
You're actually reminding me of this story. We there was a fun time in you were in my middle school, so yes. Yeah, you went through this too. I'm trying to remember what grade it was. I can't remember if it was 6th or 7th. But I remember we were in art class, me and my friend. And we're doing our thing. Now, this is important to the story because I think it was 7th grade. And you know why I think it was 7th grade? Because 7th grade, the way they staggered the lunches between the different grades.
Yeah, you were last.
7th grade went to the lunchroom last.
For whatever reason. If you had 5th, 6th, and 7th period lunches, cruel. You had 6th graders ate at 5th period, 7th graders ate at 7th period, and 8th graders got the coveted 6th period lunch.
It was so cruel. It was so cruel.
So bad.
It made you want to be an 8th grader, though. But basically, so yeah, you're already waiting late in the day to have lunch. And our extracurricular, our art class, was right before our lunch period. So it's like, okay, we're getting ready, we're getting hungry. All of a sudden, they come into the classroom and they tell us, leave your backpacks, don't take anything with you. We're all getting on the bus and we're leaving the school. And we had no idea what the hell was happening.
Is this the bomb threat?
Yes, this is.
You didn't get on a bus? You got on a bus?
I'm pretty sure I remember getting on a bus.
We did not get on a bus. No. We walked to the school next door.
That was the one down the road, right?
It was right next door, yeah, where the fair is.
Yeah, I remember a bus.
We did not get on a bus. I walked. We walked over there. Yeah, it is the period before lunch, and they literally go...
Maybe they only had some for some students. I remember a bus for some reason.
I did not get on a bus. I remember walking over there. But, yeah, so there was a bomb threat.
They basically evacuated the whole school because of it.
What's super funny is that...
Ori dropping the bomb. I was trying to build suspense.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to remember what it was. Either way, Penguin.
Spoiled by Ori's memory.
We get over to the so it is the period before lunch.
We managed to travel down. We were all fucking starving.
Okay, this is really, really extra funny. So, I'm
curious how your story turned out.
Yeah, so my class, I don't know what happened, but there was some disconnect with the person who told my teacher of that period what was happening and what we were doing. So she actually told us to bring our bags. So we brought our bags.
Wow.
However, we were all still in the similar boat of not having lunch because my lunchbox was in my locker that I would have gotten before going to lunch. So we are starving to death, middle schooler style right now. We are starving to death.
It's one of the flies in this fucking school.
Brain blast.
We were
I had
starving.
the biggest brain blast. I remembered that there was a package of those fucking Little Bites chocolate chip muffins that I once put in my backpack like a week ago, but those things fucking last forever. And it had gotten to the bottom of my backpack. Okay, so it was smushed. This packet was smushed. But I like reached my little arm in there and I brought it out. And I was like king. And I was like, no, these are my muffins. No. And then, no, guys, to top it off.
My precious, yum, 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 yum.
To top it off, after we left, it started pouring. We're sitting in this school,
that was the
and it
worst.
started pouring outside.
It was horrible. And like, we couldn't even go to a room. When they brought us to the other school, they had us sitting in the hallway, just sitting against the wall
on the
in
floor.
These hallways.
So the school was closed.
No ceremony, no nothing. It's like, what is going on?
The school was closed because it's a religious private school that had some sort of holiday that day. And so there was
I wonder where they would have taken us if they didn't.
I have no idea what they would have done. But there was nobody in that school. That school was closed. So I have no idea what happened that we got into the school. But yeah, we're not in classrooms with our teachers. We're not doing whatever. We're not blah, blah, blah. No. We're sitting on the floor.
We are sitting on the floor in a hallway, lined up, very confused.
15 of us, 20 of us.
No one told us what was going on.
We did not. No, just my class. Literally, just my class. Because again, there was some disconnect. I don't know. Which honestly, really bad disconnect. Because if one of us was the bomb person, we would have brought the bag.
That would have been really bad.
Would have been really bad. Now, thankfully, it was all never a real thing. And there was never a bomb. And
it was all a hoax.
Playing a prank or whatever. But,
yeah.
That'll never not be a core memory. And then, oh my god. But, no, it got worse.
My core memory for that? Wait, I gotta finish my part of the story.
I'm sorry.
Because we didn't have our bags. We didn't have any miracle mini muffins to save us. We were left there to starve. So, not only was it before the period where we would have had lunch, we had to wait past that in order to get food. Because what they finally ended up doing was going across the street to basically mass order a ton of pizzas from this one pizza place and bring them all to the school. My friend was so hungry, he not only ate the pizza, he ate the paper plate that it came on, and then he ate the paper clip. Because he was just like, I need food, man. I'm starving. I wasn't just like picking at the edges of the plate and eating it. He ate the whole friggin' thing, and he's like, "It's got sauce on it. It's got grease.
It's got
and he ate the whole paper plate.
What a legend.
Grease.
A balanced diet,
fiber.
indeed. No,
a very balanced diet.
So you couldn't leave until your parents.
I did collect pizza tables. Those were fun.
To pick you up. So you couldn't leave until your parent came to pick you up. Now the problem
I was stuck there so
with
long.
that for me is that I live a maximum 10-minute walk from where we were located. That's my house. However, my father worked not close at all, and he takes a train to get there. My mother works for the school, so she can't leave on this. So I'm stuck here, unable to leave because one, it's pouring, so even if I did walk home, I would be absolutely drenched. And two, I can't leave early like everybody else whose parents could just come and pick them up. I had to wait the whole time.
No half day for us. We were just stuck there. I don't even remember how I got home that day. I don't remember if it was my dad who came to get me or my mom eventually with my brother. I don't even remember. That last part is a blur.
It was definitely not my dad. My mom was definitely eventually allowed to be released from her job duties and took me home.
They're like, you have a kid. You can leave. You've been relieved.
It's definitely one of those things where, like,
a
having a parent
day.
that worked in the school, a blessing and a curse, you know? Like very much like, yes, did she bring me food multiple times into classes? Yeah, she did. But did I also have to fucking stay way later than everybody else because my own mother couldn't take me home because she was working? Also, yes.
Yes. I think that's how you ended going home with Charlie and the others so often, because you were like, I gotta get out of school, man.
No, usually it worked out because she would get off at the same time. It was just like, I couldn't get off early, you know, like we couldn't leave early with everybody else who was leaving as soon as their parents came, you know?
I see.
I don't remember staying late. It was just a long time because you're sitting there with literally nothing to do. Smartphones were only barely a thing, and I didn't have one yet. Were they even a thing? I don't even know if they were a thing.
Phones. I think it was the slider phones.
Yeah. So there was nothing to do.
Yeah. And they made us leave our backpacks behind, which if you brought your DS to school, you left it behind.
I had a deck of cards in that backpack.
It was funny. You know the game we did in our section of the hallway? Because we didn't go to lunch, we had our lunch money. Oh. And luckily, lunch required you to have a quarter. Because I believe it was $2.25.
Like
so
that.
We all got our quarters, and we started spinning them Beyblade style.
Oh, yeah.
We played Beyblade with quarters the entire time.
Going to school early was definitely the vibe. Also, at our high school, you could buy cookies. 2 cookies for 50 cents, I think it was, at, like, the small little cafeteria. And they were, like,
that was the best
specifically
deal.
Fresh and undercooked. And you got that with
They
milk.
were so gooey. Oh, they were great.
They were great. But, in middle school, it was very easy, and you should use your locker in middle school because you specifically had lunch, right? So you specifically, your locker
they also
was
just
like
give you way too many books. You can't carry
but
those.
In high school,
this was the day before we had laptops, guys.
A lunch period.
We had notebooks.
In high school, I didn't have a lunch period, and your locker could be literally anywhere, and it could be completely out of the way, a place that you never ever go. So it literally, I didn't in high school, never used a locker because literally there was no time to utilize it, you know?
It was always close to my homeroom.
That's insane.
I don't think I ever had an issue where I had to go out of my way to get to my locker.
Oh yeah, my locker was somewhere that it was never worthwhile to use. It was just
wow, they screwed you over.
Yeah, it was bad. What is
you should pull a Malfoy. My mother will hear about this.
Literally.
She works at the school.
What's your opinion on any drama in the fandom of your choice? That's a lot of options.
That's very open-ended. I feel like I need you to narrow that down for me.
I don't think there's a way to narrow that down.
There's too many choices.
I only know specific drama for some fandoms. Other fandoms I'm just in, and I don't know of any drama, even if there may be some. I don't know. Okay. We're winging
it, guys. Favorite drama? Link click. Yeah, if you want a live action drama, I think I gotta pick Make It or Break It. I grew up on that. That was my middle school show. I was taking gymnastics at the time. It was a show about gymnastics, so it was a vibe. Should I have been watching it at that age? Probably not, but I watched it.
But I did.
And it was pretty good.
The bop.
The bop indeed.
Okay.
Favorite fandom drama?
I don't know what...
I don't know how to define... Okay, so I think I know it's B-side, because I do watch a YouTuber, and sometimes, like, he'll mainly talk about ships, and sometimes he'll talk about how it's entertaining to watch a fandom implode on itself when, like, a ship they don't want gets together or something like that, and I'm like, oh, that's just not my vibe. Like,
yeah.
I'm not sitting there like, meh.
I don't think I like any fandom drama. Like, I don't know.
Like, I don't know. I just want us to all be chill. I'm trying to think, like, favorite fandom drama?
Who else did gymnastics, Mason? You?
I was gonna say one of the characters, one of the OCs.
Oh, Addie? I feel like I could see Addie doing, like, cheer or something.
I can see that. You giga chatted the entire thing, Penguin? Damn. I know a lot of us gave up halfway through and just got wheel-around backpacks. We were like, we're not sacrificing our backs
at the beginning.
Viscerally.
It's one of those things where definitely, like, at the beginning you were the weird kid for that shit, but then by the end everyone was like, who the fuck cares?
I remember people used to make fun of you for having a roll-around backpack, but then
yeah,
it's like,
I gave
well,
no
okay.
shits. I gave
Do you want to make
no
fun of me
shits.
after you have a question mark in your spine? Didn't think so.
I gave no shits. Took no names. And that's where I got the superlative of, what was it, most quirky or some shit? Yep.
You did. That's right. What an honor. I can't.
I really did not care.
That's what those pieces are. Oops.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I can fix this.
What'd you do to my boy?
I did nothing. I just mistook a piece of something for something else.
Was concerning her scar? Brain.
The clues. I know they are. I know they are.
The drama. Okay.
But I'm gonna be a good beta reader and not share.
Yeah.
I respect Mason too much. I won't spill the secrets.
The drama... There's drama that I didn't like in the sense of, like, why did people hate on freaking the boyfriend's webtoon so much? Literally, there's no reason. And I'm glad that I was not just insane.
I need to watch that video.
It was good, you know. She didn't go through, like, the whole thing, because, like, there's 2 seasons or whatever. But I'm like, yeah, season 2's also good and cute and just slice of lifey. Why can't we just have nice things sometimes? Like, I don't know. It was really
Hottest
just
take about anything Ace Attorney related. I mean, Enthuse, I know this is going to be a hot take because she has a lot of fans. It's also a predictable one from me.
Yeah, we hate
Lana Hart.
Not as a character in the way that she's written. She's just a bad person.
Yeah.
She's not written badly. I don't think I can think of a character where I'm like, oh, their writing was bad. Just Gant's breakdown solely. Oh, you're right. There you go. Larry. Larry had bad writing in the second half.
Okay, you know what my hot take is? I got an actual hot take. I think they should have lost Larry. I don't think they needed to keep bringing back Larry. And I'll also say this, I don't think we needed him in the final case of Trials and Tribulations. I honestly think it could have been any artist. It did not have to be Larry. That's my hot take.
Very weird there, Restream. Why are you putting the no spoilers message? Let's look into that. Lana is someone you love to hate?
Lana, interesting.
Your hottest take is Investigations 5. So you're talking about Turnabout Ablaze?
I feel like
is being good. I enjoyed it up until the part that we hate. Watch the spoilers, Mars, on culprits.
Oh, I shall.
I don't have the thing on, is all I'm saying.
I don't think I've shared any culprits. Agreed.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't dislike I-5. I feel like overall I liked I-15.
Like I-5, it's just that one part that drives me nuts.
Just like the Gantt part. That's it. The Gantt part is too long. In the other one. Cause
that one too.
AA15 is very long too.
Yeah. Oh god, it is.
See, okay, Penguin, I don't think that the whole game itself is too long. I don't think that whole turnabout is too long. I think the ending is too long.
It's just the one part where he's like, this isn't even my final form.
A lot of the fandom doesn't like any of the investigation cases. Really? I will say, overall...
Really?
I was thinking about this before, and I did have a moment where it was like, I do feel like some of the cases we've done so far in Investigations 2 have been kind of forgettable in a sense, if that makes any sense. While, like, and there also is, I will say, there is also a level of bias of, at this point, I have watched and rewatched the contents of Ace Attorney 1 and Justice for All more times than any other game. And of course, Trials and Tribulations is, like, really pretty tight overall, as, like, a thing. You know, there's, like, a lot of... We really liked, you know, Atme as a character. You know, we had a lot of fun with him. So just a lot, like, of fun, goofy characters that we really got to do. Obviously, Eustace has been a good time in Investigations 2 so far. But Investigations 1, I definitely didn't dislike. The first... I liked the first case. I did like the first case.
First case was good. I liked seeing Maggie come back.
I thought Jacques Portsman was a fun character to introduce, like an interesting, like, you know, goofy, right? Like, that's a level of Ace Attorney that I enjoy. I need there to be some whimsy, as Dylan would put it.
He felt like a level 1 introduction, you know?
He felt like
it was
a dude. You know, like, he felt like a character. Like when you call someone, like, what a character! Like, that sort of vibe, right? And that's what I like. They think Investigations 2 is peak. Okay, I will say, if Investigations 2 is following the way that Investigations 1 went, where there's, like, a lot that ties into itself, I guess we'll have to wait till the end. But if I'm being honest, I find these last two ones kind of... We just went through the motions. I don't know. There's also a chance that that is because we had to play them kind of spread out, especially this Investigations 2-2, because of the schedule thing, that may be contributing to it. But I don't feel nearly as engrossed as I was with other cases.
With the one we're playing now?
I feel like this one has yet to begin, in the sense of I like the flashback part, was really fun, but when we came back to the present, I have yet to be in it again, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't feel like I
could see that.
Understand what's going on yet, in the sense of, like, I know what happened to Carmelo. Like, I know, you know, he's unconscious, and I know that we're solving the case from 20, like, whatever years ago, but I don't have pieces enough yet to understand what the game's trying to get me to do. Versus in other cases, like, okay, I don't feel like I can theorize really hard yet. Like, I don't feel like I'm, like, in it, where it was fun to experience Gregory and, of course, see Von Karma for a little bit again. You know, like, it was fun to have the Gregory Edgeworth and
But it
young
definitely
Eddie
feels
dynamic.
like that was a massive part of the setup.
Yeah, and I loved that part. I really did like going back. I enjoyed that a lot. Being with Gregory and young Eddie and having Von Karma again and having Bad. You know, I don't dislike Bad's overall characterization, right? I do just wish that he wasn't exposition fodder in 1-4. But once we've come back to this, like, the present now, we of course had the little emotional moments with the pictures, but since then it's like, I don't feel like I've done anything yet. I feel like I haven't gotten to investigate really anything yet. Like, even, like, I wasn't allowed in the other room yet. Gumshoe goes in there with the gas mask for like 30 seconds, you know, and it's just like, I don't feel like I've done anything. And that's what I'm really waiting for. I don't feel like I'm putting the pieces together. And that was the big thing with this one. I feel like with the last one, I just wasn't a fan of Carcerado as a character. He was kind of bleh. Body Harma was fun, but I wish he did more. You know? He just
they really built him up as this presence. He felt very much as
like this scapegoat, which I liked the idea of, you know, and I liked who it was, but I feel like he just wasn't. He wasn't. I don't know. I wanted him to be a little more conniving of being an assassin, maybe, like, you know, messing with it more, maybe. I don't know. Wasn't as a thing.
I see.
I didn't dislike him, Estrog. I didn't dislike him at all. He was fun, and I liked the vibe. But I feel like him being, like, completely absolved of not doing anything was kind of weird. Like, I feel like, I guess he was doing something. Like, I'm trying not to have to put the spoiler tag on. Like, I guess there was a thing happening, but that felt kind of quick as well. Oh, Rocco? Yeah. I wasn't as big a fan of Rocco. No.
Rocco to me just kind of felt like he was there.
Yeah, he was just kind of a dude. I feel like literally anybody could have been him.
To be honest, you know? I forgot Rocco was even in it.
Yeah, in Carcerado. Yeah, I feel like he could have been anyone. He was bland, in my opinion. He was just kind of a dude. He did a thing. That was kind of
was everything surrounding Lungard absolutely fantastic. Yes, you can see where they put all the effort.
Yeah. So Incarcerado was kind of mid in my opinion.
Just a little. Like by mid standards, it's still pretty good.
I feel like that, okay, that's an interesting thing. No, not Rocco the dog. Or Rocco the Rock from Sesame Street, no. The other thing, I had a thing and I've lost it. I'm a little upset we didn't get more of Simeon. And what I mean by that is, like, I feel like when we're in definitely the mainline games, we talk a fair amount to the defendants, right? We keep going back to the detention center, right? Like, we go back to the detention center and we talk about them.
Ooh, that's another iconic Rocco Mason.
Yes. You know, and we go back to the detention center, but I feel like we just didn't get to interact with Simeon very much. I don't know.
Also, he was a little bit of a whiny bitch.
Well, that's partly me, but I feel like we had his moments.
No, that was his shtick.
We had the monkey reveal, and then it was kind of like, I do wish we had one more talking with him. Might have been interesting. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna say, I think so far, the issue I'm having with Investigations 2 is there's too many callbacks.
I'm
gonna say
Interesting.
I'm gonna say it. I think there's too many callbacks. Now you feel insulted? I think that's what's really getting me.
His hair the color of his pants? I did. Shit.
Yeah. You know, that's what I'm gonna say. In Investigation 1, I liked we had a lot more characters happening. Of course, Kay is new, you know, but like we get Maggie as a brief call as a callback in the first one, but it's only her. And then we get Larry and Oldbag amongst a cast of a lot of characters in that one, right? Like, Larry and Oldbag are there, but then we also have Alba and Paleno and Morbad, and like everybody is there. I see it, Struck. And it's not that I disliked the use of the characters. It's fun to see Regina. It was interesting to see Saw It. But I think a large part of my enjoyment... It
does kind of feel like a where are they now?
Yeah. And I think a large part of my enjoyment of the Ace Attorney games is getting the funny, kooky characters again. Like seeing what we come up with, what we end up with. Because we get incredible gems like Atme and, you know... all the circus characters were great their first time. You know, Mo and Ben was a fun time. You know, Max was an interesting case.
Max is all this pretty sort of fun.
Stuff. You know, even Furio Tigre is like a funny thing, right? You know, all that sort of stuff.
He's a good idea. Yeah. I don't like him as a character. I think he's far too one note.
I think I like the goof enough that it's fun to me. And then there's Larry. Yeah, he's dead. Well, yes, that's Struck. That is true. I will say there is an interesting thing happening here. And it may also be partially I'm dropping the ball, or I don't like my own characters as much. And because when I sit here and I think about, like, all the characters that I really like, they're Dylan voiced. They're mostly Dylan voiced. No offense to Mars, but they're mostly Dylan voiced. And he's kind of tied up at the moment. So we just get a lot less Dylan voice. And I think I just don't like my own characters as much. Maybe we're at something there. Because I at the beginning of, like, Investigations 1, I was definitely like, Dylan, how do I make, like, interesting characters? And how do I make it, like, interesting like you do, you know? Because it's like, he's like, you gotta ad-lib and do all this stuff. And
it's not sacrilege, Struck. It's just another opinion.
I don't think it's sacrilege. I think the problem that I have with it, Struck, is when it stops being like, oh, look. I'm trying to think of exactly how I want to word this.
Okay, I think I know a way to describe it.
Yeah, go ahead.
It feels like when Star Wars has callbacks to characters, right? It's not just oh, let's catch up with them. Let's see what they're doing. Like, sometimes it crosses a line into, hey guys, remember this character? Weren't they a cool character? And that's all they do with them. Now, I'll be honest, I don't think Ace Attorney has crossed that line just yet. I do feel like with Larry, they toe that line. Because they just do not know what to do with Larry. They do not know how to make him a good character or appealing, at least for me personally.
I feel like the biggest
because of course the writers must cater to me, but
yeah, right.
Like in terms of Regina, I kind of like seeing her run the circus and be in charge.
Regina
like
was
it's
fun.
Cool seeing her take up the mantle. I really liked that.
I think my
that
biggest
was
issue
really cool.
is with Saw It, and I think my biggest issue is with Saw It solely because he was a tutorial one-off character.
I thought Saw It took the place of Rocco. I thought Rocco was going to be our main witness that we talked back and forth to.
There was
not
too much
it to be
Saw It. There was too much Saw It. Like, it's one thing...
I thought Saw It was going to be like a one and done, and then when we kept going back to him, I was like,
yeah, that's what gets me about it.
What about Rocco? Where
like,
did
I
he
also
go?
enjoyed Shelly being in the first, in 2-1, like I-2-1, right?
But it wasn't too much, I felt.
Yeah, Penguin. Yeah. No, it wasn't too much. We had, of course, Tabby as a big thing. We met Bronco, you know, and the president, right? So we have those are 3 new characters where we talk a
new
lot to
characters
Bronco,
to set off
a lot to
a couple
Tabby.
of the reoccurring ones.
Like mathematically, the amount we talked to new characters versus returning characters is the balance that I think I need. And I think in in I-2-2, there was too much. The balance was off. We talked to Rocco kind of minimally. We talked to Body Harma again, only like twice. It wasn't a lot. And then we had a lot of Saw It. An okay amount of Lagarde. She was there, you know, of course. Of course we were getting, I think AAI2 had too many characters overall. Like, in the
They
thing.
had a lot of characters.
For being the length that it was, the type of case it was, I think we introduced Eustace and Verity and Lagarde and Body Harma and Rocco, then also got a lot of Saw It, introduced Simon, and saw Regina again. That's a lot of characters. You know, I feel like it was just a lot. I feel like we didn't need
more than Turnabout Big Top.
Yeah.
Because you got Mo, Max, Mo, Max, Trilo, Ben, Regina, Crow,
Acro. That's it. That's 5.
So there's a couple in there, but then you always have the grounding points of Maya, Pearl, and Gumshoe.
Yeah. I wasn't even counting
Francis,
Gumshoe. Oh, and you get Eddie in AI2. AI2
Oh, yeah.
introduced too many new mainstay characters and then also brought back... Yeah, exactly, Mason. I do think that's what's getting me about this. Because we had the one-off characters that are just for the thing of Lagarde and Simon and
legit
Carcerado.
Just how many characters there were.
So many are in this one case, and I think that's my biggest thing. So we get Kay, but see, this is the difference. Kay and Lang are the only ones we get back, are the only ones we care about, and Sheena, okay? So there's 3 that we care about, and if I'm being honest, there's not a lot of Lang and a lot of Sheena in this cases overall. We talked to Lance briefly at the end. We don't get Lance for the majority of the time. He comes in late. We get the one Meekins callback. Yes, much to your chagrin. Yeah, sadly Lang and Sheena are not as often there. Versus literally, yeah, so we do a lot of investigating. Okay, this is the difference. I think this is the difference. We get Kay when we're just Edgeworth. We don't have Gumshoe. We have nobody else. We have Edgeworth, and then we get Kay, right? Then we get to be in this one room with Kay for a significant period of time. So we finally get to leave. And now I'm trying to remember exactly how this goes. I think
and
then
honestly, gameplay-wise is really good, because you can talk to her throughout and get to know her.
Yeah, and then I think we leave, and that's when we run into, correct me if I'm wrong, Lang and Sheena and Meekins. And maybe Gumshoe's in there a little bit.
Pretty sure.
Okay, but then, if I remember correctly, they're there in that, like, they're barely there. Like, they leave. We get to, like, meet them, but then they leave. And it's not till later that we're really talking a lot with Lang. Lang does keep coming back, but Sheena, if I'm being honest, she doesn't talk very much. They're like a package.
Into Emma very briefly.
We do run into Emma very briefly. But Emma is one scene. Emma is one scene and nothing else. We get Meekins for a bit, and then he's done. I think the problem is we had Carcerado started and then came back. We had, what's his name? Saw it, started, and then came back. You know, and then Eustace and Verity are more of their individual characters than I think Lang and Sheena were. Yes, I know, old bag. Don't forget old bag. So there is a lot of characters that struck. I think the other thing about 1-3 that helps it be much better than 2-2, there was more distinct places to be. We had a lot of distinct scenes. You have stuck in the room. You have Western place. You have, and not even, you have the lead up before that, right? You get the entrance, you go into the thing, we have the whole setup. You're stuck in the room. So we have entrance time. Then you're stuck in the room. Then you're at the Western place. Then you're at the stage. Then you're back at the beginning. Like, that's a lot of different places. In this one, you had the only places that you could be were the prison, briefly in the one room, but that was just investigation time. Nothing else happened in there. Body Harma's place is kind of small. Kind of small. Not a lot happening in there. And then you have outside. I'm upset we didn't get to go into Lagarde's office. I think that would have helped. I think that would have been another level that we would have gotten. Because we keep teasing it. Yeah, but we don't do anything in there, Estruck. We talk with a guy. I don't really count that. We did stuff in all the other area I'm talking about. We investigated in the stage. And then we even have that whole time where we're investigating in the haunted house. So we have investigation in the room where we're stuck. I'm not going to count the setup at the beginning. We have investigation in the room where we're stuck. We have investigation in the Western world. We have investigation at the stage. And then we have investigation at the haunted mansion. 4 really big, long investigations. Oh, the victim cell. You're right. You're right.
Oh, that's true.
That is true. So with this one, we have the investigation of the main prison. The investigation of Body Harma's cell is kind of... I don't see... Okay. Body Harma's cell is not at the same level as like the main prison. Body Harma's
cell is difficult because you can't really...
You don't go in it.
At least mechanically, you can't walk around it.
So that's like
you're allowed
to
investigate. But it feels very different because of that limitation.
Yeah, versus you can walk around in the practice room, you can walk around at the circus in the yard, you can walk around in the main area, but I don't remember, there wasn't really clues in the main area. I guess there was Carcerado's cell?
Transition screen, honestly.
But that was also similar to Body Harma's thing. What do you think Lagarde's office would look like? Ooh. Well, if her coat was like that, I'd be curious to see what else she'd have. I can see like a matching hat on like a hook, like a hat stand, maybe other scarves, right? They are all alive, of course, because that's the funny part. Maybe they blink every once in a while. Like there's just a little blink to them, very subtle.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Would be really fun. She definitely has a desk.
I did love her breakdown at the end. No, that was great.
I'm sad we didn't get more Lagarde, I think is my issue. We got too much Saw It. I wanted less Saw It and more Lagarde. I think that's where it really lies in. We questioned the guards and learned about the uniform and had confrontations there. Yeah, see the confrontations part, I feel like every place in 1-3 had both confrontations and investigation that was pertinent, right? We found information, like we discovered things. I don't know. Just the flow felt weird, I guess. I felt very entrapped in the prison one. I don't think there was more Rocco than Saw It. I really don't think so. I think we got a ton of Saw It.
I feel like Rocco disappeared really quickly.
We got Rocco at the very beginning. We had to briefly kind of fight with him, and then we got Rocco in the middle, and that was it. We got Saw It for a really long time, and then we got Saw It for another decently long time.
There's only so long you can listen to this voice.
Yeah. I just remember having to hear that a lot. And not as much. See, that's what I'm really basing it off of. I remember having to hear the Saw It voice for a lot longer than I remember having to do the Carcerado voice.
I remember having to take a lot more throat lozenges, so that checks out.
Yeah.
We measure time by the voices we hear and the amount of throw lozenges we take.
Ooh, nice, Pastry Puff. I love it. I can't wait to beat the game so we can see all of them. I have yet
Penguin.
to dislike an Ace Attorney game. I will say. Saw it does sound like the merchant from Aladdin. I could see it.
Oh, I definitely pulled from that. Like in the first game, I was just trying to make him like a kind of just a sleazy person because it's like, oh, it's so obvious he did it.
Yeah.
And then that made for like a really fun breakdown. But this time,
I
really leaned into it.
I think the other thing is that out of all the characters, I didn't need Saw It to come back. You know who would have been more fun?
Oh, my friend, please come closer.
Out of all of the culprits,
too close, a little too close.
Out of all of the culprits, I think
I apologize.
that picking a first intro case culprit was a bad choice as someone to come back. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like
it does give a different vibe because like if he's the starter guy, but now he's showing up.
He's not a character
later in the game.
Like he's not a big deal. You know, I would feel the same way with like Wellington, right? Like I don't feel like they would be. I guess so, Estrock. I guess so. It is just definitely like I feel like there were so many better culprits that I thought would have been more fun. No, Pluto, I am a baby, and I don't like horror games. Dylan's literally like, hey, Ori.
Mars will occasionally play horror games, but not very often. It has to be a good horror game with an interesting premise.
I think Wellington had more personality.
I played Bendy in the Ink Machine. By the way, Doughy deserved better. My boy, Doughy, poor Doughy. And then what was the other one? Oh, Indigo Park. That was the other one I played.
The other one you like.
But like they all gotta have like an interesting enough premise that I can get past the fear.
I guess I just find Saw It
like, okay, I'm willing to be chased by Molly McCaw if I get to talk to a cute little raccoon on the side. That's fine.
3-5 culprit. Could have been it. I
feel like Ace Attorney horror RG.
I think the big. Ooh, see, that's the other thing. I think the big issue with having the callbacks is the fact that Ace Attorney tries to make it that any game doesn't spoil other games. And now having Saw It, or technically Wellington, doesn't spoil other games solely because you know they did it in the cutscene. Right, like the cutscene is they did it. Thus, you could also say like Red White, because the cutscene is him doing it. Like we see his face, right? So there's not really like a spoiler about it. But no, from Bendy and the Ink Machine, Pluto. But
did I say? I think I said Bendy. I did mean to add Poppy Playtime onto that list.
That's also true.
God, my wires got so crossed.
But yeah, I'm thinking it's more like Ace Attorney tries really hard to not spoil other games, and I feel like that is inherently an antithesis to bringing back characters, to making reference characters. You know what I'm saying? Like, they try really hard
referencing old characters
in really weird ways.
You know, I honestly find it kind of sad that they can't allude to culprits in previous games, because I think
dumbest
that
rule 100%
can take away from them story-wise.
And
like,
now,
wouldn't it be interesting to have a culprit you meet again be jaded, that you put them in jail, or that, like, if Edgeworth were to meet someone that he had prosecuted against, like facing off against Phoenix, and they were found guilty by Phoenix, wouldn't it be interesting to have that culprit be like, why didn't you try harder? Why didn't you this? Why didn't you that? Like,
yeah, exactly, Penguin.
It would create more story opportunities.
Yeah, 100%. And I also, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't in the Japanese release of the games, don't they say like 2 and 3 for the Ace Attorney trilogy? They don't just have the names. Like, I know in the American release, there's no, like, 1, 2, 3, right? So, like, you could technically get, like, Justice for All before you get, like, you know... Yeah, that too. Really? We can't say Phoenix Wright because he's the, like, poster child of the fucking series? Like, I'm sorry, you're going to end up playing
anything. They just made it more gay by doing that.
Yeah, they really did. But it's like, you're going to end up playing the 2 spin-off side games of a series you've never heard. Like, I feel like just the math doesn't work.
It'd be like if Link was never mentioned in the new Legend of Zelda game.
Yeah.
Like the one that features Zelda. Echoes of Wisdom, that's what it's called.
Yeah. It'd be like, what?
That would be like not mentioning Link by name in Echoes of Wisdom.
This is Phoenix's first name is embarrassed at us. Oh my god. Oh, I don't know what we're thinking. This drunk.
Oh, what's happening here?
Your humanity is restored?
That's not right.
No, that man still is insane, though. And at least they reference it. Because what got me is that I'm pretty sure... I'm blanking on which one it is. I think it has to be 3-2. Yeah, I think it has to be 3-2. Because after the events of 2-4... Phoenix has no reactions about Maya doing shit. Like, I feel like there's a level that we should have had from the start.
Here's a progression
of 3-2 that felt like we just erased what happened. Because it's like, okay, they get around it in a lot of Justice for All because Edgeworth leaves, right? Okay. And then they lead up to him leaving, so by the time Edgeworth comes back, even if you just play Justice for All...
I'll be right back, I need a water refill.
How dare you. Even if you just play Justice for All, you understand that Edgeworth has been gone and there's been a whole thing, and we get that information. Oh, very excited, Pastry Puff. Yeah, I mean vibe, though, Estrock. But it just felt like a lot of character regression. Same with, like, Phoenix and Gumshoe after that. That's what it was. After Gumshoe really, really, really helped Phoenix out. A lot. Gumshoe was the GOAT of 2-4, right? Oh my god, he did so much. Like, he really came in clutch a bunch of times. And Phoenix was actually grateful for him a bunch of those times. To then come back to 3-2 and have him be an absolute dick, like, both ways, is just like, it's not even like a, sorry, pal, I really can't help you out this time. Like, I needed something. I just felt like the characterization was all lost, and it hurts. It hurts. It hurts because the games want story, and they have a lot of story. And then I will say, Estrock, just off of that, I'm upset that there's not as much Gumshoe. I expected there to be significantly more Gumshoe in investigations. And I'm honestly very disappointed that there has been, in my opinion, very little Gumshoe. Out of all of the characters that I really wanted to see again besides Edgeworth, I wanted there to be more Gumshoe. I really, really, really wanted there to be more Gumshoe. Pretty annoyed about that, not gonna lie. Yeah. Yeah, she did, but I feel like my whole thing is like, I don't feel like I don't get enough Pearl when Maya's around, right? Like, obviously, there has been things that have caused us to only have Pearl, right? But, well, I really enjoyed the dynamic that Edgeworth and Gumshoe had in 3-5, and I was very excited to have more of that in investigations. So I will admit that I'm a little disappointed that there is a lot less Gumshoe And no offense to Eddie.
Justice for Gumshoe.
But now we also have Eddie. I feel like the team that trails Edgeworth around has just grown to a point that I really can't get the characters
is
much.
Very big compared to Phoenix's.
At any given time, Phoenix has at
Whereas
most
with Phoenix,
2 characters.
He's got maybe Maya and Pearl.
That's it.
Sometimes Lotta. There's that one exception where it was
Lotta. It's never
Lotta
at the same part, though. It's never Lotta the same way as Maya and Pearl. Maya and Pearl are, like, always there. Of course, you know, extraneous circumstances aside. But they're always there. That's what K usually is. But I feel like, no, I don't want to say I don't like K. I like K. I like K and Edgeworth. I definitely like her being around. I just wish we have those fleeting moments where Gumshoe's also there, and then we have Kay and Gumshoe doing their little doofus thing, and then Edgeworth also be like, I wish there was more of that. I feel like we get Gumshoe, he does his little thing, and then he leaves. And he's constantly sent off somewhere else, like a second win. And like I said, no offense to Eddie, but I would rather way more Gumshoe than Eddie. I like Eddie. I'm not trying to say I don't like Eddie, but I feel like Eddie is more of a Lang, and he's not being a Lang right now, right? Does that make sense? Lang didn't follow Edgeworth like Eddie follows Edgeworth. I feel like Eddie should be the one that goes off and does stuff, and Gumshoe should be the one following Edgeworth around with Kay, right? Eddie has his defenders. I like Eddie. I do like Eddie. I love young Eddie and Gregory.
I think he's a great addition.
And I love young Eddie and Gregory. That was fantastic. I will say.
Because Ori, my argument is that Gumshoe not being involved is mainly for plot reasons. Like, they're trying to establish the dynamic between Edgeworth and Eddie as like a pseudo brother figure.
Gumshoe was shunted in the first game too. Gumshoe was shunted in the first game too. Eddie is my son. Yes, I get the pun, yes.
Bad because there were at least reasons for it. Like in the first case, he is there, but you also have Maggie, but like that's a 2-2 pair up, so it's not too bad. Then you have the next case where Edgeworth is on the plane, Gumshoe just isn't there, so it makes sense. And then I think after that, that was the one that takes place in the amusement park, right?
Yeah, plane amusement park.
So in that case, you're separated from Gumshoe because of shenanigans, and you gotta reunite with him.
My big one is Gumshoe in the last case was just never around.
Yeah, that was sad.
I feel like Gumshoe in I-15 was not around. I gotta be honest,
I thought because we were in the prison, we were going to get way more background cameos.
Yeah. See, that's the other thing. It's like, that would have been the place.
That would have been the place to have all of those background
But like I said,
cameos.
I think their biggest issue, I think their biggest concern was the spoiling who was the culprits. I think that was their biggest concern. Yeah, exactly, Estruck. It's so good. So good.
It stopped here.
Yeah. I'm trying to think why the sauce just isn't exactly the same. Don't, like, completely and utterly, don't get me wrong. I am thoroughly enjoying investigations, and I'm loving doing it. And I do like the gameplay of it overall. I like getting to walk around and click things, point, you know, like, a little more than just the rooms. I really like the logic. I will say, if I wanted one thing to carry over really bad, I do wish we got logic like we get in investigation.
Phoenix just can't use logic.
But maybe Apollo
he doesn't.
Apollo's a smart boy, right? Question mark?
I don't know.
But I will say,
from what I've heard, his power is not logic.
We do have some Gumshoe secret weapons. I think we already used the fishing pole.
I think so.
I like the
used
callback.
missile.
I like the callback. I loved having missile as like a thing, like out. That was great.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
I also like that missile actually like did shit, you know, instead of just be a menace. That was also nice. I liked that all of his
more
things
than just a throwaway.
were actually useful.
They actually had him do something plot relevant.
I like that all of his things were actually useful. I do like that. Prefers the investigation style rather than the first person style. I do like having the like perspective S-Drock. It is really nice. I think that the Ace Attorney mainline games just have such a wide breadth of spaces, right? When you think about the investigation games, they all take place in basically one building with different rooms. You know, one amusement park with different areas, one plane with different rooms, right? Like, so they're in like a contained area where you can physically walk from one place to the other, versus in all the Ace Attorney mainline games in the first trilogy that we played.
You're traveling all over
You're
the
all
town.
over the place. You're going to multiple different locations. So I do see, I guess so, big. So I do see why it would be a little harder to do it that way. I think there's just, we get a lot more places in the mainline games. But I like that. I like being able to go around a little more. You see the one infamous missile line. It depends on what it was about. We did pick missile, and we did bring missile to, Larry, and he ate all of the dogs. I don't know what the infamous line is, so I'm not sure. But,
he ate all the weenies!
I think that I really do just wish that while we were doing the point-and-click investigation, we got something akin to getting the logic, putting the logic pieces together, and doing the deduce. Because those are all, like, built-in things already. Like, those are never done in a space that isn't feasible for a mainline game to add in, right? Like, having the little logic menu, you're literally only getting logic when you click on shit. You click on shit, you investigate shit, and you get logic pieces, right? Or you talk with people, which is, again, shit we already do in the main games. And then you have the deduce bits, which are in those zoomed in point-and-click areas where we deduce stuff. Didn't do the fishing rod. We did not do the fishing rod. We did missile, and then we did metal detector.
Then we missed the infamous line.
We missiled the infamous line. Also more like a story mode than telling your client to lie like a dog for them to escape. Yeah. Yeah, let us know. We ain't replaying it. So, yeah. I think that that game piece I would like as a holdover is very fun. But I overall like the games, there's no question. I don't think they've beaten an Ace, you know, a mainline game yet. I will say 1-4 really holds a lot of weight for me. I still don't think I've beaten that. I still don't think we've had a case that has come as close. I feel like
who knows? This could be the one.
Oh yeah. Well, apparently
it involves Edgeworth. It involves Gregory's past.
Is controversial as well. So, but
ooh, okay. I'm curious.
They have yet to do the multiple levels in the same reveal way that they did with 1-4. I will say they did get close in 3-5. They did get close in 3-5. I did enjoy that moment.
They did get very close. Because they purposefully had a lot of build up to that one. Like, they knew what they were doing out of the gate. So they went for it. They made flashback cases. They did the whole thing.
Yeah. But to me, that wasn't the greatest part. I liked the last culprit of 3-5. I liked that realization.
Okay.
That's why I'm comparing it to 1-4, right? Because That I remember having the eureka moment. Right? That I had like another like,
I see what you're getting
bam!
At.
Same with like 1-4. We had that moment where it's like, oh my god, you know, little metal detector, you know, all that sort of thing. But similar moment with that in 3-5 where it was like, they weren't there, you know, where were they? Big brain shit.
Boom. Eureka!
Yeah.
So I guess to go back to the tangent that started it, those are our Ace Attorney hot takes.
No, so Estrock, again, I will be honest, you have watched our playthrough of 3-5 much more recently than we have. So, yes, that pastry puff. Oh, and no, that's what I'm talking about. Because I'm not talking about the main culprit of 3-5 Estrock. I'm not talking about the person that the whole Trials and Tribulation leads up to about. I'm talking about after that, we still don't know who did the actual murder. And then I personally had like a, holy fuck, this lines up, all of this shit. And we're like, oh my god. And it just felt really, really good. And it felt to me
it all came together.
But it felt to me similarly like 1-4 in the sense of we weren't suspecting this person at all. Right, we weren't suspecting this person at all. We had, you know, they were, you know, doing their own thing. You know, they weren't in the field of suspecting. And then when you get to the point where it's like all coming together, it's like, oh shit, no, it's that one. That happened in 1-4, that happened in 3-5. And I think they have yet... That type of moment to me is just, I think, personally really cool to me. And it's different than, like, you kind of know what's going on. Yeah, exactly, Pastry Puff, exactly.
It kind of clues you in, you know?
That is, I don't remember joking about that person being the culprit of 3-5 until this moment that Pastry Puff is talking about. But like, it can't, like we're listing off like, all right, well, if that's that, and we still need to know who, you know, killed the, you know, the person who's dead, right? And it wasn't this person that we've gotten on all this other shit.
I can see why Ace Attorney doesn't do this. It's really hard to talk about with non-spoilers.
My problem is that then don't call back characters, 1. Or 2, you can still not give spoilers and keep characterization. I think that it would have been much more fulfilling to know that something happened with Maya and Phoenix before Trials and Tribulations, but I don't know what it is. Right? That makes me want to play the game before much more than just ignoring it altogether. You know what I'm saying? Having moments like Gumshoe being like, can't help you this time, pal, you know, sorry. And it's like, or Phoenix pleading, Gumshoe, you've helped me before, you know, what about those times we had? I want to know what the fuck those times were. What do you mean? He helped you before? Why ain't he helping you now? Blah, 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 blah. You know, Maya, don't go off on your own, you know, wait until I come with you, or take Pearl, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Why is he doing that? Why is he, like, anything that is like, that's not a spoiler.
A little bit.
I don't know what happened. I don't know who did it. You know, we don't reference the culprit by name. You know, I don't expect that. But losing all of the characterization that happened, especially with Justice for All's main point being this, like, moral internal struggle for Phoenix, just completely wiping that away kind of hurts.
Well, that felt like such a big character moment for him, and now it's just like...
And now it's just gone.
Out the window.
I totally get not name-dropping the culprit, not even alluding to what he looks like, but the trauma that Phoenix had should have stuck around, and that would be like, oh my god, what happened, right? I need to know what happened. That's not spoiling it.
Don't worry, guys. the characters in Outcast hold on to their trauma.
Yeah.
Perhaps a little too much.
And that's like the whole thing, where it's just like, I remember being annoyed. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember being annoyed with how Phoenix acted with Maya and how Phoenix and Gumshoe acted together in 3-2, because obviously in 3-1 we don't see any of that.
Well,
but
the way they
3-2,
interact, it feels very off from where we left them.
Yeah. And it's
you just
like,
kind of have this feeling of like, wait a second.
Why are we here? I mean, we felt that way with like 1-5 as well, where it was like, why are you such an asshole to Gumshoe after he was like, please help Mr. Edgeworth, please Phoenix, all this sort of stuff. Like it was just like weird regression
Phoenix,
to
stop
the
being
mean.
such a dick.
Especially after like, I think it just extra hurts that it's like, it feels like we build this friendship with Gumshoe every time, right? It feels like we get this character point of like realizing that like Gumshoe isn't a bad guy, there's just, he's on the prosecutor's side, right? And then we get these moments of Gumshoe explicitly helping Phoenix, not bumbling his way and saying stuff he shouldn't, but explicitly going out of his way to help Phoenix, and then to come back and bring it back to they're just like ragging on each other, like kind of wild.
So, guys, I'll tell you what's going on here. From a writing perspective,
Regression
we
to
as
the mean.
people want to see growth and development in our characters, because that gives us a sense of momentum through the story. That gives us a sense of progression. So when we don't see that, when we see characters kind of going back to their square one and starting from scratch, it kind of makes us feel like, it's like we hit the pause button on the remote for some reason. And you lose that momentum, you lose that progression. Not typically recommended.
No. That's why people get annoyed with slow burns.
This is definitely more common in video games than it is with other forms of media. Because if you think about, like, I'm trying to think of a series that starts over with the same protagonist every time. Because even though Link is technically the same person, like, it's different worlds every time, so it's different Links according to the timeline. Dragon Quest starts with new protagonists, new stories. Persona starts with new protagonists, new stories. Why is the only thing I could think of is Mario?
I think Link is tough, and of course the Mario ones are tough because they're not like, even with Breath of the Wilds and Tears of the Kingdom, Link is not a very vocal person. So, like, there's a lot of...
Okay. I thought of one. Yeah. Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, Snake.
But to my recollection, Snake does experience a progression.
That's crazy.
In my recollection, Snake does experience progression in his story. Like emotional growth, character growth, and all that.
That is true. I find that just crazy in like a being human standpoint. And 2, it's putting a lot of perspective on like manga tropes.
It really does.
Right?
Holy shit.
If that's actually a thing
that makes a lot of sense
culturally
now.
Popular, it makes so much sense to a lot of anime, a lot of manga. Yeah. Exactly, Penguin. Exactly. The other thing...
You hit the nail on the head, Penguin.
The other thing is that you can have a character regress, but there has to be...
Yes, and you can have them stagnate.
But
if you're going to play that trick, something has to be going on around them to keep that momentum going.
Yeah.
Hotsun, for example, is very stagnant at the moment. We're seeing some inklings of things are a little different than what I thought they were, but he's not really changing. Meanwhile, the rest of the story is still progressing around him. So while Hotsun himself is stagnant, everything around him is still moving.
There's still momentum, yeah.
So there's little tricks you can use to kind of avoid that. I kind of feel like Ace Attorney can fall into that camp. However, it's basically a visual novel detective game. And that's where, like, being very dialogue heavy does kind of do it a disservice, where you rely on the dialogue so much. You want to see the characters' growth. You want to hear their thoughts more. You want to hear their connections.
I feel like the issue is that Ace Attorney does such a good job of having character moments, right? Such a good job of specifically within a game facilitating moral dilemmas, trauma, childhood trauma, you know, long withstanding cases that do all this stuff, that to then, you know, and to make a whole plot line that spans multiple cases. It feels like, why are you doing all of that just to start back at square one, right? If every turn, because, okay, like, I'm gonna say this. I played some of the Nancy Drew mystery games, right? And I read the original Carolyn Keene Nancy Drew books, okay? She doesn't have any character growth, because that's not the point of the story ever. There is never a point in that story where it is her growing as a person, or, you know, making a mistake and coming back. That is not the point of the story. The story is that she's a cool girl that is still very feminine and solves these mysteries and gets out of these dire situations. She never progresses any further with her boyfriend. They literally just talk about going on dates. There's no, like, years later they're getting married. Nothing. You know, like, there's nothing. She has the same two friends. Barely,
Damn,
you know.
Talk about a slow burn.
Every book. No, they're together, but it's not like, you know, it's like, yeah, we'll go to the sock hop together. You know, it's like, it's not like I'm waiting for them to have, like, their wedding at the end or something. You know, like, she is the same age. Every book starts nearly the same way.
So we're not rating for a Banshee like we were rating for a Boruto.
Yeah, you know, right, we're not. And every book starts, like, basically the same. Go on dates, murder, then go on dates, murder. Yeah. You know, every book starts basically the same. It introduced, like, my name's Nancy Drew. I live on this street with my whatever color convertible she has, with my best friends, Beth and George. And, you know, and it describes Beth and George briefly and their boyfriends and her boyfriend. And then we get into why she ends up in the situation when she's solving this mystery. And then we solve the mystery. And then it ends with her learning who the person is, them trying to kill her, and her managing to escape, okay? That's the formula. It's interesting, in my opinion, every time, because the mystery is different, the culprit is different, the near-death experience is different, but there is never, like, she's not having a moral dilemma in the middle of it, right? She's not having a, oh my god, should I convict this person moment, and this decision I make will, like, you know, change their lives forever? Are they really wrong for doing? We never have that. That's not the point of it. Fancy will be provided by fiction writers, yeah. We never have that. But literally the point of all 3 original trilogy games is having a character growth moment for a character. Is having the Phoenix-Edgeworth relationship progress. Is having Phoenix have this moral dilemma he has to sort out. Is having this years-long generational trauma is not the word I want, but this one evil finally getting put to rest after they keep coming back to make everybody's life miserable. Right? Like, there's layers of depth there, of character growth that occurs within the game. So then to just remove all mote of that completely is like, alright, here we are again. Like, I don't know. We joke about Phoenix being traumatized, because he is. I'd like him to be a little traumatized in game before the trauma of that game happens, okay? Just a little bit. It doesn't have to be a big deal. You've ever heard me cough? I don't know about that. I might mute my mic usually.
Oh no, Ori's coughed before. This just happens when she gets into a rant, but I gotta say, I've gotten like 6 panels done during this rant, so it's going pretty well.
I have not. Yeah, a little trauma is okay as a treat. Like, I really don't need it to be a big thing. It just hurts that it's
more
not
so just like having the acknowledgement in game. Because when you make such a big deal out of the character's emotional state, you expect that to be carried over. Like, oh, this was treated as such a big deal. Surely we're gonna, you know, reference this or call back to it,
of a
or
game.
It'll affect him in some way going forward.
But like, I don't need it to be a big deal. I need it to be a...
It's very interesting what the writers have done.
Yeah, but I don't need it to be a thing. I need it to be an off moment of, Maya, don't go alone. Wait till I can come. Or, you know, like I said, the gumshoe, hey pal, can't help you this time. Like, literally, a one-off moment of just like, yeah, this thing did happen, and we're in the same timeline, but it feels like, at this point, why are they connected games?
Consistency.
It feels like, why...
for is consistency.
Why not make Phoenix a traveling lawyer at that point? You know what I'm saying? Like at that point, why make it not that Phoenix now
at that point
goes to another city?
Characters.
Exactly. Ugh.
Why have reoccurring characters if the relationships aren't going to grow?
I read a fan fiction that involved the time between 1 and 2. That was good shit. It also involved 1 and 2, but it also involved specifically the period of time between 1 and 2.
That was a moment that was missing.
I think it really is.
Or, you know what? Treat it like the noodle incident. They bring it up, they bond over it, but we don't get to know what it is. I don't even think we get that.
We never do.
I don't think we even get a noodle moment.
Nope. Yeah.
Crazy.
It very much is just like at that point, why do we have these same characters in any way that has an emotional level? If I think Nancy Drew is still very, very good, and I don't get fed up about it not being consistent, you know? And, oh, see, this is the other thing. Because I'm gonna come back to Nancy Drew, specifically the books. Some of the books reference other cases in the book by name. They say something along the lines of, oh, like that mysterious clock in the mansion, or something. Or like, last week we did that, or something like that. They don't spoil who it was. They don't spoil anything about what the mystery was about, but they go, huh, shit, better read that one. Like, you know, like, I'm like, now I gotta know what she's talking about. Like, I feel like you lose something. Like,
there
okay.
were some things they could have done.
Pretend for a moment, Mars and I are going to write our next comic. If we had, and that was supposed to be set in the same Outcast world, having a reference back to Outcast, the original story, would be done to make people want to go read it. Yeah, the old clock. That's what it is. Yep, the old clock. Given what you said about George, you're surprised Gansey isn't the main ship. Again, it's one of those things where, in a very purposeful, calculated way, the characters are flat. But that's the point. They're not a vehicle for a character-driven story. They're a vehicle for a mystery. You know? Beth and George exist because Nancy is a person that needs friends, and sometimes people outside need to help her. But
they are
Nancy
plot devices.
But
the trick as a writer is to make them not feel like plot devices.
I would say Nancy is very much like a Mary Sue. She has a lot of Mary Sue qualities to her, but they are done purposefully with the main intention of driving a interesting mystery. Hello, Allie. We're talking about Nancy Drew right now.
Allie. Nancy Drew in the context of Ace Attorney and what we can learn from both.
But we are specifically heavily avoiding spoilers because I specifically don't want you and anyone else to have to come in here and not participate because we had to put the spoiler tag up. So we're trying very hard.
we really are.
Also, Allie, if you're looking for a show to watch, please watch Link Click. Join us.
It's so good. Join us. We're in pain. We're suffering. We need more.
See, and this is what's interesting, Penguin. Ooh, you know what does this really well? The Knives Out movies. The two Knives. What are Mary Sue qualities? Mary Sue qualities are like...
Mary Sue quality would be, well, in the traditional sense, a Mary Sue quality would usually be a very stagnant character. They don't really have much of a personality to speak of. Maybe they have a couple quirks here and there. Typically when people think of Mary Sue's, they'll assign a clumsy flaw. So it's like, yes, it's a flaw, but it's not a flaw that impacts the character in a meaningful way. It's not like selfishness or greed or insecurity. It's more so like, oh, look, cute, quirky flaw. That's what people would typically think of. The best way to think of a Mary Sue is that they are a skin for the reader to wear and imagine themselves in the story. I would say that, Ori, when you describe Nancy Drew is the perfect vessel for a reader to enter the story through
self-insert
and imagine that they are the ones solving the mystery, because that's the draw,
and that's the
entertainment. That's why a lot of romance books have very flat protagonists, because they're not supposed to be developed, because if they're developed, if they have their own personality that contradicts your own, you can't imagine yourself as them. It was actually interesting. I was watching a breakdown of comics of the past, like the golden age of superhero comics. And originally, superheroes in comics were very bland. They didn't really have much of a personality aside from, being just, being moral. But these were standards back in the day, and should still have, honestly, that we wanted people to have. They were idealized standards. So you have that, but no other personality to speak of. You could easily imagine yourself in the role of one of those superheroes.
Is a story problem rather than a character problem. Yes, a character is simply not built for the story, which is what they're written. 100%. And so okay.
Or they can solve the plot too easily.
Yeah. So then calling Nancy Drew a
Mary Sue where it's like, everything's fixed because this character appeared.
But she's very much just, I'm a strong, feminine woman, and I have a boyfriend.
Mary Sue in the sense of a traditional Mary Sue, whereas the more modern interpretation of Mary Sue tends to lean more negative.
So Allie, Link Click is not done yet. Okay. However, I am very much a person that cannot deal with depressing endings. I hate it. I hate endings where there is no hope left in the world, where there's not a thing. If you ever watch Devilman Crybaby, I was very blindsided by that. I couldn't do it. I couldn't finish Cyberpunk Edge Runners because I knew that how it was going to end, it was going to be bad. Link Click, I have a lot of hope, and we were dangling on. I'm kind of delulu about it at the end of season 2. We're really hoping at the end of this last arc, the Britain arc, I'm pretty confident. I'm like 90% confident that we're gonna have a good time overall, because the way they write the characters does not feel like we're gonna have depression at the end. It's a lot more like it hurts. Like there are moments when it's like, oh fuck, but there's no moments where I'm like despair. You know what I'm saying? I'm not despaired. The messaging of it, the way they write the characters, I don't get depression flags. I get, oh my god, this is a really crazy mystery that also has a lot of angst and a lot of moments, but it also has a lot of great and cute moments and happy and nice and yeah, exactly. Paste your post on it with me. We do think there'll be a happy ending in the end. It will
also,
be a time.
Shu and Lu Guang are the biggest boyfriends to not be boyfriends.
Yeah, seriously though. They're like,
they are the most boyfriends.
Whew. Ooh, I can see that, Mason. I remember in the class one on your original port. I can see that. Yeah. So it's called Bridon. Yeah, it's the Britain arc. They go to Britain. So it's not an anime.
Britain.
It's a donghua, so it's a Chinese animation. The voice actors are really good. Ali, I don't know if you know Alejandro Saab or Sayu. He voices one of the main characters, and the other one is Zeno Robinson. He voices the other main character, which is great.
They both do a phenomenal job, and all the other voice actors are putting in 110%.
Yeah. Everyone else is good, but it's definitely like we watched the English dub because of that, because of them originally. But no, it definitely doesn't fail at all. They're all great, but really good. Mars and I watched the Britain arc, which is only 6 episodes, one of those episodes being an hour long, but it's only 6 episodes, and we ended at maybe 4 o'clock in the afternoon, right? We theorized until 9:30 at night.
It was a long time.
We didn't even realize. Theories. We weren't upset. Theories. I love Sai.
They were
Please
just
watch
theories
it.
of what we thought was going to happen.
Please watch it. And then Patriot finally finished it, and we were talking in the Discord. Yeah, really good mystery shit. It's definitely not depressing, like overall unhopeful story, because I can't deal with that. If a story gives
good setup and payoff.
If a story gives hopelessness, I quit. And this is not that.
So good.
It is such a tightly written story. We're not even done. Next season is going to come out with 24 episodes. Holy shit.
I'm going to die.
Please, Allie. Really worth it. Now,
I wonder if they're breaking it up into cores.
Will you cry? Possibly.
Yes.
Season 2 has a lot of emotion going on, but it's worth it.
Season 2 has a lot of emotion.
Yeah.
Couple trigger warnings.
Yes. So good.
But overall, you will be satisfied.
Mm-hmm. Will you scream and lie on the floor? Definitely. But in a good way.
100%.
You know, my mind is going a mile a minute. What could this mean? How could this go? Blah, blah, blah. And also, now that you're in this point and you sort of know a little, I think this is honestly the perfect time to get into it, because the level of suspense at the end of this past arc, the Britain arc, is very much more like, oh my god, so many theories. How could this all play out in the end? How do we get to the end? You know, oh my god, what could this be? Versus the end of season 2 is like,
there's literally so many ways this could go.
And the end of season 1 is like, I'm glad we didn't experience a hiatus after that, because we watched it when season 2 would come out. So, really worth it. You can watch it on our classic, yes, Crunchyroll is the legal way if you have that. If not, it's the other site we have mentioned before that I can DM you if you would like. Those are the only places we know to watch it. Mars and I literally got Crunchyroll because we like Link Click.
Mostly because we wanted to make sure Link Click got the money it needed to keep making
literally
stuff.
So that matters. Yeah, I know. At this point, my data has been leaked in a number of different ways. Welcome back, Vanilla.
I gotta be honest, since Ori and I share a Crunchyroll, it's not my data.
That is true. Mars is protected.
They had life hacks.
Life hacks,
It's not your data if you never use your data.
I'm also, my bank is very good, so I get, like, really easy if someone did steal, like, my credit card info. I can be like, hey. And they're like, ah, shit, we got you, fam.
It's like, hey,
and that's why children, I think actually the vast majority of you are younger than us. So children,
I'm pretty sure,
If you do not have a credit card and you have means to get one, you should have one solely for the fact that buying shit online is safest with a credit card because it's not real money yet. That money you can stop being transactioned. If someone steals your credit card, that money, you didn't give them money. They took fake money that you don't pay back yet, and you go, no, no, no. But with a debit card, that's the money that they do take. And it's your money, and there's not really anything they could do.
It's
now,
gone.
Don't get a credit card and just use it willy-nilly for money you don't have. That's not what I'm saying at all. But it is the safest way to do it. You're not younger than us, Ms. Penguin, or you're not a child? Because I'm not a child, and I don't think anyone in here is actually a child. But I do know a good chunk of you are younger than us.
At one point you just hit an age where it's like, yeah, nope, you're all children.
You don't get why people use credit cards? Literally, Esdrock.
I mean, Ori just explained
the reason I have told you is the sole reason I recommend getting a credit card. Also, unfortunately, in America, credit scores are a thing you need in order to buy anything of substance.
Yeah.
And the main
Cars, houses,
yeah,
rent.
I mean, house we're gone away from. But even to fucking rent, you need good credit score.
Yeah, it's really stupid.
You're an ageless rock. There you go. It's
vanilla.
It's an anime that I know is memed on a lot, and to my understanding, for good reason. But I will not watch it.
That one hasn't come across my feed yet.
I won't find out.
Think
it has come across in solely people making fun of people who watch it. So I don't know.
Good sign.
If that is only from the title and it's actually wholesome, but the title fits. Okay, yeah. So a bad choice, vanilla, is what it is. Don't. Yeah, yeah. Don't.
Just don't. Just don't. Ooh, 7th panel. Let's go.
No. So Estruck. So a debit card is just digital money. It's specifically the amount of money in your account is the amount of money on that card, right? So when you use that card, that money is directly removed from your debit card, right? If I was to know your debit card information, yeah. If I was to know your debit card information and I buy something for all your money on your debit card, that money is gone. You will not get that money back. I have already used it. It is gone. Okay? It'll never ever come back.
The bank has no way of getting it back.
The bank has no way of getting it back. There's nothing you could do. You're fucked. Number 2, you're not paying anything off with a debit card. You are literally just exchanging digital money. It's literally equivalent to paying cash, but with a card. So you're not gaining any bank clout, is basically what a credit score is, for paying off your debt.
There's no benefits.
When you get a credit card, you are basically saying, I owe you money. This is an IOU, but it is a backed IOU by a bank that'll say, I will fucking get that money for you, bro, if this person doesn't pay it back, right? Because I will get them for you. Now, that has a debt. So when you no, people don't lose money on them. No. People don't lose money on credit cards. The problem that people have with credit cards is people will pay you can't.
From what I
you
understand,
can't overdraft
people
on a credit card. You can overdraft
they
on a
try to
debit
play
card.
the game where they either go over their bounds or they don't pay off the full amount.
The issue that people have with credit cards is credit cards has
because it never stops accruing.
Aspirational money. I have a limit on a credit card that is easily more money than I currently have at any given time. Okay, let's say I have $100 in my bank account. I can have a credit card that has a maximum of $1,000. So I can buy something with a credit card for $1,000. And that is a contract that I will, over time, pay back that $1,000. Okay, but I only have $100, so I have to earn that money, and I get basically a mini loan. In paying back that loan, the bank goes, "Oh shit, you're based, fam, and you're good. I'm willing to loan you more money at any given time because I know you're good for it, bro." Okay? Now, the reason that people get into issues is because they don't pay that money back, and then there's interest, and that means the bank is like, "Haha, you didn't pay me back, now you gotta pay me more, bitch," and that racks up because you still need to buy other shit and other things. Now, if you use a credit card and you only buy things on that credit card that you know you have in your money account, money to pay back, and you can, like, literally with, like, the bank app on your phone or on the computer, you can literally go and immediately, like, 2 days later, go pay that off with the money in your account. And that gives you this bank clout, okay, which is called a credit score. And you need that to rent, you need that to buy a car, at least in America. You need that to buy a house, to make any big purchases that you usually feasibly couldn't possibly have that amount of money. Or you need to reliably pay money every certain amount of time, like rent. It's basically saying, you have been paying back money reliably. We know you're good for it, so we'll let you borrow more money. Now, the big thing for me is, especially with buying things on the internet. Yeah, right? This is very important to me because somebody in my household doesn't have a credit card and it's dumb. However, I have a credit card and I was able to buy my own car at a very young age by myself without having anybody else sign on it. So, like, you could do
it, guys.
Okay? And the other thing is, I have gotten my credit card information stolen, and people have charged thousands of dollars to my credit card that I can thankfully go, "Hey, bank, that ain't me. I didn't do that." And they can go, "Shit, you're cool. We'll dispute that for you. That's not your problem anymore. Here's a new card because yours was taken advantage of." And that's the biggest thing. Okay? With all of the websites that we have where your information's getting leaked, where you're buying stuff online, where it may or may not be a little bit shady, or somebody may hack you, or somebody whatever, if you are only putting in a credit card information, if somebody buys stuff on that credit card, that is not your actual money. And thus you can tell the bank that that is not your charge. You didn't do that. My credit card information was stolen, and now you are not responsible for that amount of money, and you get to keep all the money that is yours. Because they didn't get you, okay? They didn't get you. But if they did that on a debit card, that money's gone. And to me, that is the biggest reason to have a credit card, is to protect yourself from buying online things. I don't care if it's Amazon, if it's PayPal, I don't care. Crunchyroll is a reputable site. I'm not worried about Crunchyroll stealing my data, but they have data breaches, and somebody else could now steal my data. And when they talk about data, that's what they're talking about. Okay, nobody gives a shit about your address. I gotta say, that's already on there. Fuck that. No, it's they want their credit card information so that people can literally steal your money. And if it's a credit card, they can't steal your money. If it's a debit card, they've stolen your money. Okay? I'm a little condescending about this because somebody in my household for no reason doesn't have a credit card, and it baffles me. Baffles me. Again, you can have financial, there is, a credit card problem that people have, and unfortunately a lot of times it is because you buy things out of your means, or you literally just can't afford to buy it in these cases. Some people have that, and that's very unfortunate. Like groceries, and you put groceries on a credit card, and you just can't afford groceries, and that's not anybody's fault. That's society's issue in America, all that sort of stuff. Probably wherever you are too. But if your financials are relatively in order, and again, it's still protected, or if you can keep on top of it, right? You make sure that you're paying it off right away, that you're still only buying the normal things you would. It is just like, if I go on Amazon and I know that I'm buying with my credit card, I know that should somebody take my Amazon information, they can't take my money. Yeah, well, we're kind of, it seems like a Dylan thing. No, Dylan has one. I convinced him with this exact speech that I have given. I convinced Dylan.
Now I know who it is.
Yeah, now you know who it is. I mean, chat probably knows who it is. It was Dylan for a long time, and I convinced him. Because of what I've said to you. Because that was the big, like, the thing my parents taught me was you get a credit card for what I told you, for internet protection. Because that's where you're gonna get it stolen. But even if, like...
Especially when you get adult money and you can buy all the anime merch you want.
Yeah.
Those are the sites you want to be protected on.
I'm buying German nutcrackers from a German website.
D in Dylan stands for debt.
D in Dylan. No.
Oh, no, debit. I'm sorry.
Oh, debit, yeah.
Debit,
I'm
not
like,
debt.
No.
I totally read that wrong.
You put all your eggs in one basket? Not the eggs. Now he's credit.
Oh, no one's buying eggs.
Krillin. There we go. I am getting eggs.
We switched our egg brand.
Oh yeah, I'm store whatever all the way. Whatever's the cheapest one.
Oh yeah.
No question there. We don't go through that many eggs, but we definitely eat them.
Any eggs either, but now my mom started baking some more because it's spring. So she's in a big baking mood. She's made so many muffins these past few days. I've been taking lots of muffins to work for breakfast, and it's been really nice.
Cylin's a fun name.
We go through a lot of eggs.
Your brain died in the middle of your funny? Oh, yeah, that's what happened.
Oh no.
Yep, now you know how we feel.
It's more common than you think.
It is. Hey, I'm glad that at least Mars has gotten her work done.
It turns out rants are very good to listen to.
Yes, they are. How do I like to eat my eggs?
No, I got all my notes done for work today.
I
went out and bought some Easter stuff for my kids tomorrow, so we're gonna do that for the next 2 weeks until break.
Nice.
Ooh,
I like
how
my
do
eggs.
you like to eat your eggs? I either like them scrambled because I'm boring as hell.
Good.
Or I like them fried on a English muffin.
I like over
with some lettuce and butter.
A sandwich.
That's really good.
Or on like fried rice or something like that, bulgogi, all that sort of stuff, bibimbap. Over easy. I want the yolk to be runny. But I also really like jammy boiled eggs, and then you make egg salad or you make ramen eggs. And rolled eggs.
Oh,
I
see,
love rolled eggs.
Ramen eggs are good. Rolled eggs are good. I don't know, when you have the yolk in the middle that you can break and it all oozes out, that skeeves me out so much. Guys, I was so freaked out by salmonella growing up. Like, just the possibility of it. Like, growing up, I was a little bit of a germaphobe. Just because the idea of, oh, you could touch something, it's on your hands, you have no idea it's there, and then you go to touch something else, or you go to pick up food or whatever. It got in my head, and I hated touching raw eggs. Like, anytime I had to bake, I was like, could someone else please crack the eggs for me? I didn't understand how salmonella worked at the time.
I love
I don't give a shit.
All those, like, more recent, like, there's been multiple...
But I still can't get past the yolky eggs.
See, Mars, I hate to break this to you. Every time you eat an egg salad at my house, jammy eggs.
Oh, I know. That's not the one I'm talking about.
Oh,
jammy eggs are okay.
Liquid?
It's like... Yeah, that's the one. The full liquid. Good night, Mason.
I love over
The full liquid ones are like, I don't know.
I want that egg goodness mixed into my stuff.
I just don't trust it because it's so liquidy. How could it be cooked?
Plain omelet's not good. I'll do poached, but I usually won't eat the white.
Omelets
I'll give
are
the white
really
to
good. Give me a spinach mushroom omelet. I am so there. And peppers. Can't forget the peppers. Actually,
Ooh.
my dad, sometimes he'll make deconstructed Western omelets, which is basically just scrambled eggs mixed with peppers, sausage, and onions and mushrooms. And,
an omelet, but it's a scrambled egg instead of trying to fold it together.
Basically. Kind of a tangent, but saying it reminded me.
Welcome
my
to
dad
the
loves
Discord,
deconstructed meals. Like, he loves
yeah,
deconstructed
100%.
omelets. He loves deconstructed tacos, which is basically
it's
like
easy to
put together your taco.
I don't blame
It's easy to do. But the funny thing is when he has to order out and ask for a deconstructed thing.
Oh, what?
Because every time he tries, he forgets the word deconstructed and he tells the waiter, I want a decomposed taco. I'm just standing there like, Dad, that's not the word. That's not the word you want to use. And the waiter just gives him a look like, what is this man talking about?
Estruck? Oh my god.
Crazy.
Deconstructed Linzer tart, yeah.
Deconstructed Linzer tortin. Bromophobia? I'm not familiar with that one.
Is that a phobia of people touching your food?
I thought it was a fear of food touching.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Well, then it makes sense for.
But no, he does. Yeah. He does not have that.
What of us?
Because his food does touch. He just. The convenience of, like, everyone gets to make their own taco. You can have lamb, you can have chicken, and...
I get that for a home meal.
Like, it makes sense.
That's how
it's just funny that he
kimbap.
Always forgets the word.
That's how I do
I'm like, it's
kimbap.
not decomposed, Dad. You're not decomposing a taco, you're deconstructing it.
And I guess my tacos are, like, when I make tacos, I don't, like, make other people's tacos. I make the meat, and then, you serve the toppings.
Yeah, and that would be a deconstructed taco.
Yeah, and I do the same for kimbap. But not a
decomposed one. Decomposed would be rotting.
I do put together. I don't know. She eats 24 eggs every morning to help her get large. Struck.
Now so she's roughly the size of a barge. I don't know. Maybe she's got those gains.
What is happening here? Why will you not do what I want? Okay.
I don't know.
I figured it out.
I don't know.
The button didn't push well, unless it screwed me. But I figured it out.
Nice.
Fajitas are good. Sometimes I do fajita tacos.
Penguin, I need to eat more eggs too, and just protein in general. That's why I threw an egg into that ramen I made. Because I was like, I gotta bulk this up.
I will say,
put good shit in this ramen.
I definitely consume enough protein. My one is probably fiber, but now doing the oatmeal is good.
See, sadly, Ori and I are at that age where we actually have to think about our health just a tad.
Do I? No. Do I know I should?
Not insanely. But if we want to be happy in our 50s,
it's more like
we should think about it.
I'm definitely at the point in life where I'm the one doing the cooking. See, it's actually more I feel bad for not doing good for, like, Dylan. And it's like, I am not a vegetable person. I will say there's not a lot of vegetables I like, and I definitely, like, food textures will really get me. So I can't do a lot of fruit either. Like, a lot of berries, I can't do, like, raspberries or blackberries or blueberries, like, or grapes. I can't deal with the texture.
Hey, you have a blackberry bush in your backyard.
Yeah, it was a raspberry bush. Yeah, and I never ate them as berries, but we make ice cream and jam. I love the flavor of raspberry. Oh my god, so much raspberry jam. But I can't eat a berry. I hate the texture. Can't do it.
I sworn I saw you eat a berry. But okay.
Okay, I have definitely eaten things for... I'll tell the story. When I went to college, counselor's not the word, but like the person who you go
advisor?
to. Thank you, advisor. Yeah. So my advisor was out when I started college, and I had to definitely like add a lot of classes because I had a bunch of AP classes. So my default schedule they give you as a freshman had like not a full semester of credits on it. So it's like I need to go get credits. So I went with a bunch of other people again because my advisor was out to this other advisor, and so he had like a big group. We were like maybe 10 people in the room, okay? And he was a really great guy. I had met him before because I did pre-orientation, and he was there, and he was really cool. Liked him a lot. And we're, like, chatting and whatever, and everyone's doing... and he takes out this big Tupperware container of cherry tomatoes. I can't stand tomatoes.
I hate cherry tomatoes.
I dislike all tomatoes. I can't do any tomatoes. And on top of that, the texture. We just talked about the texture. He's passing
bad.
around. He's passing around, and he's like, oh, like these are from my garden. Like here, anyone take one if you want. And he's passing around, and it starts pretty far from me. And nobody's taking one. Not a single person is taking one of this professor's tomatoes. And I liked this professor so much. And he was so cool, and I felt so bad that not a single person was taking this dude's tomatoes. So when it got to me,
took one for the team.
I ate a tomato for my professor because
wow.
I wanted him to be happy.
You hear that, Professor? This one was for you.
It was rough for me. Oh, it was rough for me.
Oof. See, cherry tomatoes are one I can't do either. I don't like tomatoes in general, honestly. Just
Dylan does
too
like tomatoes.
Squishy.
He's not a cherry tomato person, but he likes regular tomatoes. Dylan doesn't even like apples, but he slices and puts them on a sandwich.
Regular tomato is okay when I can't taste it. If it's mixed in with other stuff and I don't know it's there, it's fine.
See, okay, I have a very acute palate. I don't like peppers.
I will happily give you the tomatoes, Allie.
I don't like peppers.
I love peppers.
If anything is made with peppers, even if there is no peppers present, I can tell. Everything tastes like peppers. Same with tomatoes. It all tastes like tomatoes. Now, I am okay, and it is fine for recipes to have things in them when it's a small part, like stew has tomato paste. I understand the factor of the tomato paste, but if you add too much and now the stew is tomato-y, just like weirdly enough, I do like tomato soup. Tomato soup, very good.
Tomato soup is okay, because that's just like
I do like tomato soup.
A liquidy version of a fancy ketchup.
Product palette, yeah. Dylan loves hot peppers, but not sweet peppers. Doug does like sweet peppers. I can't do any peppers. They all have a pepper taste, which I dislike. I will say, I've gotten more into, like, roasted vegetables. If you, like, really roast them. Now, you gotta really roast them, right? I love carrots. I eat carrots a ton of different ways. Roasted carrots, again, we're talking really, really getting in there, roasting them. Delicious. I would never eat a green bean. I had never eaten green beans in my life. I don't know what happened. I decided I was gonna roast some green beans. Those shit were good. They were good. I also roasted cauliflower, pretty good.
See,
roasted squashes.
Half the reason
delicious.
Kids don't like eating vegetables is because people don't know how to prepare them.
Yeah.
Because everyone
Carrots
just thinks, boil the friggin' crap out of them and that'll suffice. No. Be creative. Saute, roast, fry. Anything.
Green beans are better than carrots. I'll disagree with that, Penguin, but I do like roasted green beans. I can't have them any other way, though. I won't eat green beans any other way. I also do like I said, roasted cauliflower. Again, I won't eat cauliflower mash. It's weird. Tastes wrong. Dislike. Or something else. Roasted asparagus. If you're really roasting it.
Nope.
Prosciutto wrapped and Parmesan cheese. Whew. Amazing. That's good stuff. I won't eat it any other way, then.
I will not do asparagus.
Squash? You could pick a squash, and I bet I could roast that squash in a way that would be delicious.
I don't like squash either.
Really? You've never? Yeah, I have to roast some acorn squash.
Squash.
That thing's so good.
I've never liked squash. I've also never liked eggplant.
I can't.
Which is really sad because my mom is growing eggplant in our garden. She's like, "We're gonna have so much eggplant." I'm like, "Good, you can enjoy eating it then."
Like that, Penguin. What are your? I'm curious, Willow. What are your other 2 top vegetables if we're talking carrots up there? I love carrots. Carrots are great. I love corn, but sadly, that doesn't count nutritionally as a vegetable, so sad.
Corn is good. I don't mind cauliflower. Cauliflower can be good.
Like I said, roasted, good shit. I can't do the green, like leafy green vegetables. I find bitter very fast. I don't have the cilantro soap gene, but I do have a very sensitive palate to bitterness, because if you steep my tea too long, you can't fix it. If I can't do coffee in any way, there's not an amount of sweetener and sugar you can add to my coffee where it's not bitter. I just can't do it. Yeah, I don't have the cilantro soap gene. I do like cilantro. I like a lot of Mexican and I'm blanking on what it is.
Pretty good. So I don't think I have the soap gene either.
What's the one? Vietnamese.
God, you guys are making me hungry. I am seriously gonna have to get some snacks after this.
I love elote. My favorite thing, my entire life. I loved going to fairs, and now I know this isn't the whole elote, but like this started as a child. Was going to fairs and getting that roasted corn. Whew. So good.
That shit was amazing.
Green onion. I love. It took me a long time to like regular onion, and I like just onions itself. Like as a child, I did not like onion in the sense of I couldn't eat the pieces of it. Again, it really comes back to texture for me. Indian cuisine does lose cilantro a lot. My brain just died. What was I talking about? Oh, I can't do the onion if it's that like middling cooked, where it's like soft but still has a bite to it. So like the onion you get in like an onion ring, or when you put like most onions in like soup, I hate that texture. I can't do it. I really, really dislike it. But from a young age, I understood that the onion flavor was good, but that like you had to fry things in onions, but I didn't want to eat the actual onion. I hated the texture. However, when you really get actual caramelized or jammy onions, or fully raw onions on like a salad, both I love and can do a lot. I've only had Persian once as Strzok. I don't eat onions like apples. I do like apples, but solely middle tart apples, where they're not Granny Smith level. But I had a Fuji the other day and I hated it. It was so sweet. It was gross. Ranking is based on versatility. I love to cook all my food from scratch. When I have the time, 100%. Pickled red onion is great. I do like pickled red onion and pickled carrot. I like making the Korean side dishes, Willow, and then having those throughout the week. I love doing that. It hits you right at your allergy prone-sinuses.
So good.
What did who have? I'm confused. Oh, my favorite apple right now is Honeycrisp or Pink Lady. I've been on a Pink Lady kick.
Pink Ladies are delicious.
The Persian dish that I had. I had something with jeweled rice, and Dylan had a guinea hen, and I think jeweled rice as well. I'm trying to remember what my main part was. But the highlight that I have made many times since, and I know it's in a bunch of other cultures too, is jeweled rice. You haven't cooked in several weeks, you're sick. Oh, Willow, well, I'm glad you're feeling better. Today I made pasta carbonara, and I did it as more of like
had regrets.
Yeah, I did it as more of like a, I know that I like this pasta because I don't like red sauce, if we didn't get that from the tomato talk before. And we have pasta, and I had bacon, and so it was easy. But pasta just does not sit good with my stomach. My stomach rejects pasta. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. However it's made or processed. And this was whole wheat pasta, so I don't even know. My tummy does not like it. So, not a fan. Yesterday, though, I had tonkatsu-dan, which I was very excited for, and it was very good.
Ooh,
and
yum.
I made Dylan rice balls that were oyster mushroom and habanero pepper filled. I know, Esdrock, but I didn't have any of that. The recipe yelled at me too. Okay, fine. I had pasta with bacon and an egg cheese sauce. There you go.
Is that better?
It's okay. It yelled at me too in my own tummy. I don't know what we're gonna eat tomorrow.
That was the revenge.
That was the revenge for not making real carbonara. Don't tell my upstairs neighbor.
Okay, I colored 8 panels tonight. I am done.
Honestly, does Italian cuisine even exist? No. Because even between Italians, they'll tell you you're wrong.
What do you mean?
And I know that for a fact. Italian cuisine is one of those things where, like, they're very prideful of it. You know, they have a lot of pride in it. But everyone still does it differently. And, like, Italy is a rather, like, diverse place, like relatively, like Sicily is different than like
has their own special recipe,
you know? And it's like, oh, they'll argue about like where something originated or not, and it's like, oh my god, just stop. I'm very happy that like Korean food and Japanese food are like pretty big on like fusion related shit, and I'm like, yes, how do we make, like, I literally learned how like the ice cream mochi was made, and it was literally like, how do we get ice cream to be consumed in the winter and make it more, and they originally put it in like a marshmallow, and that went well with like teenagers, but they needed it to be more Japanese, like it didn't feel very Japanese style, so that's how we got the mochi ice cream, right? And like how it was developed was because they wanted to make it more like Japanese, but it's a fusion thing in the end, because ice cream is not like Japanese, you know, like, but the mochi is, and so it's like, oh, I love fusion shit. It's why Hawaiian food is really good too, because there's a lot of Asian influences there. Also Vietnamese food, because there's a lot of French influences there, so it's like a fusion within it is already really cool. But yeah, because free time, ooh, I'll have to look. Pastry. I would have once upon a time said that Japanese was my favorite cuisine, but I think at this point, I've leaned a lot more Korean. But if I'm being honest, both have kind of had, like, influences on each other, right? So it's like, like I like kimbap, which is basically, like, the Korean version of sushi. It is different. But then I also do it my own way, right? My favorite dish ever. I love steak a lot.
Oh, it's so good.
My father making a good cut of steak with a schmooze is probably something I could eat for the rest of my life. If I had to, like, pick a thing, I love steak a lot.
Well, I'm carnivore.
Yeah, no, I love steak a lot. I have made tofu, though. Tofu's good. No, food is great. Literally, okay, I watched... This is gonna be the last thing before I hit stream, because I gotta go make social posts set up for tomorrow. But, my brain died. What was I gonna say? What was I talking about? Hold on. We're talking about good food. Oh! So there's a guy on YouTube Shorts, and he's a Japanese guy, and his English is, he's not fluent in English. So he like speaks in a very funny English way that he plays up, like it's very fun. And his whole thing is like, a big thing is him like eating food. And a big part of that is he'll have people from other countries come when they visit him on, and they'll bring like a food from there. So it's like, like sweets. So like he had this woman on, and she's from India, and she brought on her sweet for him to try, and he brought his sweet for her to try. And the sweet she brought was barfi. I think it was besan barfi, something like that. And she was like talking about it, how good it was, and then he tried it, and he was like, oh my god, like it's ecstasy, and he was joking about how it was like basically crack, like he was gonna, yes, I knew Penguin was gonna correct me. But I got it right. I got it right. Well, I mean, that's what I thought of Penguin. But yeah, so and he loved it so much, and I was like, all right, I know that we have like a rather large Indian community in a section of the area that I live, like not too far away. Like I went to an Indian grocery store there and got stuff to make a bunch of Indian food, and I was like, all right, I should be able to find this somewhere near me. And I did. I found a store, and it's all about like Indian sweets and stuff, but they also have other things too, like samosas and things. And I'm like, all right, Dylan, next weekend we're going here for food, and I'm very, very excited.
Nice.
Oh,
that's what we like to see.
Excited. Yes, ominous indeed, pastry puff. Alright. Oh my god, the board! I love this.
I love it.
This is great. All
this
right.
was us.
Yeah, basically. It's lovely.
With that.
Yeah, so I'm excited to go eat all that food. Penguin. But yes. Thank you all for coming. This was a fun yap sesh. I got some work done. Not a lot, but some. And
a lot done. I'm happy.
Oof, this is gonna be a crunch for me, but we'll make it happen. All right.
Hang in there, Ori.
Yep. Have a lovely hump day, guys. We'll see you on Thursday for nearing the end of Cersei. Guys, seriously, this is like the last step before I export
we are
her.
Almost there.
And again, if this ends up being way too hard, I'm probably gonna pare it down. I think that she might not get steppies. I'm kind of feeling a little lazy for that, but I do want the body like tilt, because she's really only ever gonna be like, you know, bust, you know, chest up. So we're definitely gonna get something going on, but it's not gonna be that crazy. However, I did just watch a live to do showcase from a VTuber that just debuted on the 30th, and her model's so cute, and I'm really having a time. But I'm excited for the thingy, and that's what we're mainly gonna do after that. So we'll see you all Thursday. Have a lovely Wednesday. Thanks all for coming. Good night.